following is a presentation of Manatee Schools Television in association with TV production teachers and students.
And you're looking at the field here at Parrish You're looking at the field here at Parrish Community High School, home of the Bulls in northeast Manatee County, as the sun gets ready to set on another work week, and we get set for Friday Night Lights. Tonight, it's the Bulls hosting the surprising and undefeated Bruins of Bayshore High School in our opening high school football game of the week on MSTV. Welcome, everybody. I'm Skip Wilhoit, and alongside me, our coaches for this broadcast, Coach Chris Conboy and Coach Chuck Sandberg. And Chris, we talked about the surprising and undefeated Bruins out of Bayshore High School. It's been a long time since they could say 2-0 undefeated in Bayshore territory. What's going on with that team?
Yeah, that team is a new-look Bruins. It reminds me of the laugh-in line by Sammy Davis Jr., "Here comes the judge."
You know you're really dating yourself now.
Jaden Judge, well, Chuck will get it. He's old enough. Jaden Judge has just been a machine for them after transferring from Sarasota. He came over with his offensive coordinator, Ricky Simmons, his quarterback coach, Breon Carnes, and he's just been lights out for Bayshore, and he's taken them to levels they haven't been into in years.
Yeah, 11 touchdowns so far on the season, 5 in the opening game to go with 304 yards on the ground. Last week, he scored just about every which way but loose. A couple of rushing touchdowns, a couple of passing touchdowns, one for punt return and one on kickoff return. Wow. Man, this guy's getting it done. And already, Bayshore High School has scored more points in 2 games than they did the entire 3 times as many points as they did the entire season last year. So it's a new era of Bayshore High School football so far in this 2023 season. And Parrish Community High School, Chuck, they got a brand new coach, and they got a lot of new stuff going on.
Nice job. They're 1-1 coming in. They really put some points up against Northport. They put 43 points up, and they shut them out. You know, last week, a little bump in the road against Lemon Bay. Lemon Bay generally has had a good football team. So I don't know if they can rebound, and I don't know what they're going to learn from last week and what the takeaways are. But, hopefully they'll be okay. They've got the quarterback, the Volts kid. His dad, he's a coach's kid. So I think he knows the game, and he's a senior. So he should have some leadership qualities. So it should be an exciting game for him.
Yeah, Jackson Volts. Yeah, absolutely. Jackson Volts been lighting it up, had a great game. Yeah. Got a new wide receiver weapon in Chemistry Young that we'll see tonight. So they've got some exciting things going on in their passing game. They lost their running back from last year, Javon Moss. They replaced it with a couple of different backs that we'll see tonight. And we'll also see some changes on the defensive side. They've got 4 stud linebackers, according to their defensive coach, Frank Post. And he was letting me know that these guys can get after it, led by Gage Cameron out there. And they know how to get after the ball carrier. They're going to have a tall task in front of them because, like we said, Jaden Judge is on the loose for the Bruins. So
he's definitely on the loose. He's a good kid. I had him actually at Manatee High School. He's just a strong kid, power lifter. I think he finished. He qualified for state. Might have finished the top runner-up in his weight class.
I think he's a 3-time.
So he's an animal, and he's hard to bring down. And as long as that guy stays healthy, and they just give him a little seam, he'll be okay.
Absolutely,
he'll be good.
And you mentioned Lemon Bay, the opponent that Parrish Community High School played last week. It was a good game. Now, it might have been like a 20-point victory for Lemon Bay, but 26 of those points were scored within a 6-minute period at the end of the first half, going into the second half. 50-yard fumble return for a touchdown. A lot of bad breaks for Coach Clark and his squad last week in that Lemon Bay game. But what I find interesting is that Lemon Bay also in the same district as Bayshore. So let's see how Bayshore is able to compete with Parrish Community High School, knowing that was a pretty even ball game last last week against Parrish Community High School.
And they were on the road last week, correct? So this will be a home game.
No, it was here.
It was Lemon Bay. It was here.
Yep.
It was here. Yeah. So again, the friendly confines of Parrish Community High School. Bayshore, however, this will be their first road test of many on the year. I don't think they play again at home at Ballvant Stadium until late October or maybe even that first weekend of November, the last week of the season. Wow. So,
Alex.
A lot of interesting storylines, a lot of new faces for both teams. And again, a change of scenery for Bayshore High School from what they're usually used to, as well as their fans. But let's break this thing down. If we're going to talk about, all right, how is Bayshore going to move to 3-0 and become undefeated? I think we've already set the table with that one, Coach. It's going to run through number 3.
Yeah, they're going to have to find as many ways possible to get him the ball in space. I know for a fact that Coach Clark does not plan on kicking it to him. If they kick a ball to Jaden Judge tonight, we'll know it's a mistake. Because he watched the Lemon Bay game and the LaBelle game, and they continue to kick the ball to Judge time after long returns. So if that happens, we know somebody just messed up. Other than that, the offense, someone else has got to step up eventually this season and provide some other kind of production on the offense. It can't all come down to one guy. He's very good, and they might get away with that for a while. But at some point, if they want to really take it to the next step, they have to be able to step up and have some other guys start making plays. The guy I would look for would be number 1, Nasir Edwards, who's a transfer from Palmetto. When he gets in the slot, he was a running back at Palmetto. They get the ball to him. He's pretty dangerous. So somebody else has to help Judge out a little bit.
Yeah, and Caleb Rhodes, transfer quarterback from Lakewood Ranch High School. He's starting for the first time for Bayshore this season. He'll have his 3rd game as a starting quarterback under his belt. And when you talk about Nasir Edwards, he's not just a weapon on offense. He's probably going to be one of their top cover guys as well. So that passing game, when we talk about, hey, how did the Bruins win? Well, yeah, we want to unleash Jaden Judge if you're a Bayshore coaching staff, but also you've got to get after that passing attack. We talked about Jackson Volts. We talked about Chemistry Young, the sophomore wide receiver. He looks like a match nightmare.
Absolutely. He's got to keep it simple. I mean, you ask a guy to do some things. Maybe, the quarterback situation, you want them to kind of get their feet wet, some high percentage passes, some bubbles, maybe a couple hitches, and, let him feel good. Then you can progress to the intermediate routes, some digs and some post routes. But I think the Volts guy, I think they'll be okay tonight. It'll be a good test for him.
It will be. In Bayshore, again, with Nasir Edwards, they're going to have a tall task because it's not just the Chemistry Young out there as far as a weapon goes. They've got some other quality receivers that Jackson Volts is going to try to get that football to, including their tight end. So they've got some good weapons on both sides of the ball. There's no doubt about it. We expect a quality game here tonight. And so those are the keys to victory if you're going to be Bayshore High School. And again, if you're Parrish Community High School, you want to get that passing game going. Try to get that running game going a little bit as well between the backs that they've got there. But that's the keys, the way that we see it. Pretty simple. The passing attack for Parrish Community, the running attack for Bayshore and Jaden Judge. Let's see which one of those can come out on top tonight. So we're going to go ahead and move it on down to the field right now, take our first break from the booth, and maybe take a break here on MSTV, and we'll be right back.
Very good.
The Florida State flag is Cadet Sergeant Jenna Herbert. And the rifle bearers are Cadet Staff Sergeant Brian Chen and Cadet Sergeant Major Arturo Garcia.
Yeah, if you want to get that.
Tonight's officials are from the Gulf Coast Football Officials Association. Referee, Bill Flanagan. Umpire, Michael Chumlowski. Head linesman, Dan Edwards. Line judge, Jeff Lacey. Back judge, Brian Chin. And clock operator, Tim Weissman. The Parrish Community High School Athletic Department would like to take a second to thank some of our sponsors: Peace River Electric Cooperative Inc., 360 Orthopedics, State College of Florida, Hendrick Honda of Bradenton, Cooper Family Medical, Paul Reynolds Law, K&J Mechanical Installations, Morris Engineering Consulting, the Center for Urgent Care, Everglades Equipment Group, Jennifer L. Hammy PA, State Farm Lacey Laird, Pipe Restoration Solutions, Michael Saunders and Company, EBM Medical LLC, Auto Trim Design of Suncoast, the South State Bank, Infinity Sarasota, Ferraro's Italian Grill, MI Homes, the Teal Turtle Boutique, Dustin Hay Law, Gallagher Hagiopin, Sunset Cadillac of Bradenton, and Sabrina's Window Cleaning.
And as the captains go out to midfield, again, Jackson Volts, Holton Graham, Gage Cameron, and that's Lane Tomlinson, the tight end that we talked about earlier as well for Parrish Community High School. And for the Bruins, we see Jaden Shannon out there, number 75. Number 61, Marco Silos Jr. And number 73, that looks like Terrian Hilliard. And we have him down with the wrong number.
Hilliard is Big Grits, known as Big Grits by his coach, Sanders.
Yeah, I call him a grinder.
Says he loves his work ethic.
And this is a very, we talked about Jaden Judge running the football. This is a very upperclassman-laden offensive line, one with a lot of experience. Some of these guys, this is their third year starting along this offensive line. Every single one of them started for Bayshore last year. So when you talk about the success of Jaden Judge in that running game, a lot of that credit needs to go to the offensive line.
You got to wonder, though, that those guys lost last year to Parrish by 60 points. You got to wonder, how much that weighs on them. Do they really believe, they can do it here after playing LaBelle and Tampa Catholic were teams they hadn't played a lot, but getting beat so badly last year by Parrish. I know if they do manage to pull off a victory here, it's going to be sweet. But you got to wonder if that's in their psyche a little bit, kind of expecting things to go wrong at this point.
2 years ago, it was Bayshore with the blowout victory over the Bulls, and they are now 1-1. And you see that Bayshore won the toss. They're going to receive this football and start off on offense to begin this game this evening. So not a long series history. And look at that, we've got that nice inflatable bull out there. Pretty impressive little opening tunnel there.
With smoke coming out of his nose, too.
You got to appreciate that. There's defensive coordinator Frank Post leading the pack out there. And there's your Parrish Community Bulls taking the field. You know, it is a new facility. When you talk about an impressive school, an impressive campus, obviously Parrish Community High School, a relatively new school, the newest school in Manatee County. So the facilities are very nice, you would say. And a lot of amenities out here that maybe some other schools don't quite have. And a very sprawling campus, a lot of acreage out here in Parrish, which is fast becoming a rarity to have any acreage out here in Parrish with all the folks that are moving here.
Anywhere in Florida. They are last on the list, I think, to get artificial turf. I don't know if people know that everybody in the county, every school in the county is getting artificial turf. Manatee and Palmetto got theirs this year. Next year, I don't know who's next, but I know I talked to Principal Daniel Bradshaw, and he said that because their field was so new that they would be the last one, so however long that takes to get to them. It's a very good playing surface, though, as it is, so they shouldn't have any problems with that tonight.
Yeah, we were supposed to get our first look at the new field turf at Palmetto High School last week, but that game was postponed indefinitely due to the hurricane that we all experienced, and we'll get our next look at the turf field next week with Manatee High School for our second game of the year. And you can see back for the Bruins, it's Nasir Edwards, number 1, along with number 3, Jaden Judge. And let's see if Parrish tries to kick it away from Judge and if they've watched that film that we talked about.
Well, out at practice this week, Coach Clark mentioned that specifically, that they didn't plan on kicking the ball to Judge. I wouldn't be surprised if Judge and Nasir Edwards switch sides or try stacking later on in the game.
Chris, Manatee, when they played IMG White was not going to kick it deep. They pushed everything. Because they're not going to have a guy break through and go distance. They're going to let them take the ball at 25 or 30-yard line and let them
make them earn it.
Absolutely. Let's see what happens here.
And here we go. And Owen Tomlinson, the kicker, does indeed pooch that thing short, takes a short hop bounce, and it's going to be fielded by Edwards. And Edwards goes down across the 30-yard line. Still good, solid field position for the Bruins to begin this thing on offense.
There was a little seam there. He was a step away from breaking that.
He's a step away from scoring, man. That's what it is when the kickoff team.
Looks like he got tripped up by his ankles as he tried to hit that seam.
You know, you got to stay in your zone and kick off. You got to break down. It's, you know, and even the kickoff return, you got to have a certain technique. Guys are kicking out. When we have double wedge, you go double wedge. There's various ways of returning the kick.
So Caleb Rhodes in at quarterback again for the Bruins, and behind him we talked about Jaden Judge. He's the lone back at the 31-yard line, 1st down and 10, and it goes to Judge. And on 1st down, Judge breaks a tackle, gets a couple of yards out to maybe the 34-yard line. Looked like he had some daylight, but he's brought down by that defense. And they'll spot that ball at the 33-yard line, a pickup of 2. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 8 for the Bruins as they get back on that football quickly. High snap. Again, Judge, he's got room off the side if he can break that tackle, and he's not going to do it. Oh, spoke a little too soon. Tough running there by number 3 and finally brought down. It looks like Elroy Serrata. It was Gage Cameron, number 12, that got him wrapped up.
Yeah, he's a 3-year starter, Cameron, and had over 100 tackles last year.
Awesome.
One of those active linebackers that Coach Post talked about. Johnny Keene, another one, number 32.
And on 3rd down, swing pass out, number 5 on the reception. That's going to be short of the 1st down. And that's LaDavian Johnson, the starting running back for last year's team for the Bayshore Bruins.
4th and 1, but they're going to go for it, I think.
Let's see what Coach Sanders has got up his sleeve here, but it's going to be about a 4th down and 2.
Man.
Well, don't be surprised if they try to get Parrish to jump
They
here.
might run a freeze play right here, huh?
Although, hey, we saw the NFL last night. Some teams aren't afraid to go for it deep in their own territory.
Zone read.
And they will go for it. And again, it's going to be hand off to Jaden Judge, and he's going to be stopped short at the 40-yard line. That's a full yard short. No need to measure that. And the Bulls are going to take over 1st down and 10 on offense.
Goodness.
Good field position for Parrish to start out.
You guys like the call?
Good stop.
Stop by number
A
11,
little early in the game to be going for it on 4th down, in my opinion. But
Early in the game, maybe you punt the ball, see what's going on. I don't know. I mean, it's.
don't want to give short fields. That kills you.
And we have not seen a punter for Bayshore, and we have no punter on their roster, so that might play into it as well.
And after seeing it against the LaBelle game, I had forgotten that. Yeah, their kicking game really don't have a kicker, so that might be played into the decision.
That played into it.
If you're getting 12 yards on a punt, you might as well go for it there. So that does make more sense now that I think
We
about
got
it.
doubles on both sides.
Jermaine Edwards, the tailback in there. Next to Jackson Volts at quarterback. And Tomlinson stacked out there behind Mike Bell Jr. Excuse me, Mike Bell, the junior. Got a late defender coming on for the Bruins.
Oh, man, I like him pretty.
And Volts with the keeper across the 35-yard line, down to about the 33. Nice chunk of yards on 1st down.
Not bad. Quarterback draw. Good call.
Good call. QB carry by number 3.
Especially when we talk about the MO of this offense maybe being through the air. It is a good call, I think, to catch that Bruin defense a little off guard. Pick up about 7 yards. 3rd down and 3 now for the Bulls.
Voles is a competent runner. He's not going to break 70, 80-yard runs, but he will get 1st downs for you.
And speaking of 1st downs, there goes Edwards, Jermaine Edwards, off to the left side, and Edwards is going to pick up the 1st down and then some. And he's going to get that ball inside the 20-yard line. Let's see where they spot it.
Good job by the left side of the Parrish offensive line there, sealing off the defensive end and getting him to the corner. That's Colton Mitz and Jake Wather.
And it looks like that ball is going to be just outside the 15-yard line. 1st down and 10 for Parrish Community. And Edwards again on the handoff, left side. Edwards with room. Edwards steps out of bounds before he's upended near the 10-yard line.
It's a nice play. They're pulling the backside guards or front side. Looks like they're pulling them, getting out front.
Yeah, the Parrish offensive line is just having its way with the defensive front of the Bruins right now.
And they're hitting that outside as well. We had that quarterback keeper up the middle, but the runs that we've seen out of Edwards have all been out to the outside for the most part. Let's see if they try to mix that up.
Parrish, they traded their tight end over, and defense didn't adjust. So.
And here's Volts. He's going to roll out to his right. He's got a receiver in the end zone. His chemistry young. It looks like, check that.
Out of bounds?
That is, it is chemistry young.
Did he say he stepped out?
I got no signal from the official yet.
He's out of bounds.
So it is out. He had him open.
Wow.
Had him open.
Wide open.
And that chemistry young, number 17, is a good-looking sophomore wide receiver. He's got the height, he's got the thickness, and he's got the skill set to be a
great
great
hands.
target.
He catches the ball at the high point. He had a couple of fades he caught for touchdowns against Lemon Bay last week. Went up and took the ball away from defenders. He's very talented sophomore.
And even more importantly, Coach Clark, great kid is what he called him. And here's Edwards again on the handoff, and again running room off that left side. And it's going to be down near the goal line, about the 3-yard line. As it looks where they're going to spot this ball, and that's going to be good enough for a 1st down and goal.
Caden Lee, 54, with a good block there, left tackle, pinning the defensive end. And the Bayshore's got to change their alignment. They're just getting reached on the ends by the tackles of Parrish every time they want to run outside.
And Edwards going to get that handoff on 1st down and goal, right to the goal line. Bayshore stiffened up on defense, and he did not get in. Nice job by the interior line of the Bruins.
To the 1-foot line.
They don't have far to go. This is where you got to avoid penalties as an offense when you're set up in this kind of position.
Same play.
Shotgun, Volts, hands it off to Edwards. Edwards wrapped up in the backfield. Outstanding job that time by LaDavian Johnson for the Bruins. And he had to have lost yards, although they're going to mark that thing in the shadow of the end zone stripe still.
I think Dominic Tellez was in there too, number 6, on that hit.
Maybe it was 6 instead of 5.
Yeah, I think it was 6, I believe.
I'm not as old as you guys, but I certainly am just as blind.
He's open.
And we got an end around, play fake, chemistry in the end zone, and
dropped it.
He dropped it. It looked like a little bit of a bobble.
Are you going to take the 3 here, or are you going to take the or is it 4th down?
Well, we saw
Kind of give a little more definition, you know.
it's 4th down.
Yeah,
So
they're going for it.
we saw the Bruins go for it on 4th down and 2. This is a little bit different field position. And Volts is going to keep that ball, and Volts is going to stroll into the end zone. Touchdown, Parrish Community High School. Number 3, Jackson Volts.
A little quarterback counter. They faked the back going the other way. And Bayshore spilled it, and he just read it and bounced it outside, made a nice run.
Yeah, so we've got 2 4th down decisions by the coaching staffs of both teams. And the one for Parrish Community, granted on the Bruin 1-yard line, works out in favor. So a gutsy call by the Bruins winds up backfiring as Parrish Community takes that ball 35 yards to pay dirt.
The more I remember the punt game for Bayshore last week, the more I think that really wasn't a gutsy call. It was kind of a no-brainer. I think if you look, they're probably averaging less than 10 yards a punt. So you might as well go for it there.
Well, we don't have any punting statistics on the season to be able to back that
We don't
up
have
for
any
the Bruins.
we don't have any statistics
punters
at all.
And we have no kickers on the roster. So
Yeah.
it'll be a mystery as that special teams unfolds. And it's no mystery for the Bulls as Owen Tomlinson, their kicker and punter, puts it up and through. And that's going to extend the Parrish lead to 7-0 with 7:50 to go in the opening quarter.
Bayshore has to answer right here or this game's going to get away from them. It's like I mentioned, this team beat them by 60 last year. You know, and how much is that in their head? You know, if they start to get down, things start to go wrong, you know, what's going to happen? So if they don't answer here, I think the Bruins are going to be in for a very long night.
And we talked about the passing attack being perhaps the MO of Parrish Community out there on offense tonight. But it was that running attack, not just Edwards, but also Jackson Volts. And Tomlinson getting set to kick this thing off.
Onside kick.
And it's still loose, and Bayshore jumped on that ball. It was rolling around for anybody to grab.
Great kick. Parrish almost had it. It came off a Parrish player. I couldn't see who it was, but Bayshore ended up recovering it.
What's up with 2 4th down attempts now? We talked about both of them, and now we got an onside kick.
Do you want to kick at the judge? That's,
Good point.
I mean, if you're going to kick a pooch and give it to him at the 35 or the 40, you might as well try an onside kick and have a chance to recover it, which they almost did.
They almost did, but
and
instead,
I think he has confidence after that first series that they can stop their, they can stop the Bayshore offense. So.
And that's kind of what I was thinking in terms of the surprise of that onside kick. They really held that Bayshore offense. You want to say 3 and out, but technically 4 and out on that first drive. Let's see what Bayshore can uncork this time on offense.
DB is really soft at Parrish. I mean, Bayshore has to, like Coach Sandberg, like you said earlier, throw a hitch out here to the bottom or up top. Get receiver, their DBs are 10 yards off.
Another high snap that time, end around to Edwards, and Edwards is going to be dragged down, pursued out of the tackle, and he's going to lose yards on that, probably a loss of 2 back to the 42-yard line. Great pursuit by that Parrish Bulls defense.
Yeah, the defense for Parrish is getting penetration every play. There's guys running unblocked to the ball carriers every play.
They're going to like maybe
throw the
Ashton
ball.
Springfield, the defensive end, in on that tackle.
He's Dustin, I believe.
At that time they fake it. The judge, the defense swarms on him, but it's only going to be another short pickup to get it back maybe to the line of scrimmage. Looks a little shy of that. It's going to be 3rd down and 11 yards for the Bruins. So.
Number 6, Bryson Bender, the safety, came up and made the tackle for a loss. So you got safeties getting involved at the line of scrimmage. He had a fumble recovery last week. There's the hitch.
And Rhodes is going to pass that ball for the first time, and it's going to be incomplete. And it was
And
intended.
we're going to see the punt team.
Devon Scott, the wide receiver for the Bruins, was the intended target. 4th down again for the Bruins. And got a feeling that you're going to maybe see a punt here. And indeed, it's going to be 32 for the Bruins out there to punt. And we have no 32 on the roster. That's 34, excuse me. There we go. So it's Justin White, sophomore.
I'm not sure they're going to get it off. They're bringing the players in one at a time for the punt team.
Yeah, they got it off. No flag down. And let's see what that we got. That ball is going to be
fair catch.
Yeah, it looked like a fair catch with contact. I thought I saw a flag fly out there, but I don't see one now.
No, there's one at his feet. There was. I think you're going to get a 15-yarder here.
Chris, I think Bayshore was going to have to come out, throw the football first down, throw soft, throw some ditches, get the ball in guys' hands, throw some bubbles. They're running the football. They're throwing them like third, like long. That's what I would do. Come out and throw the football.
They picked the flag up.
They must have picked that flag up. Yeah, they got to loosen up that defense to get Judge going. I mean, you've got to have some kind of threat on that outside
or
to get those linebackers to back out.
Or get him the ball out on the slot.
Get him in space.
Yeah,
he did have 2 receiving touchdowns last week,
yes,
so
he did.
They know how to throw it to him.
They like to go back to the weak side. They'll run a slant and he'll run the wheel route behind it, and they hit it twice last week against LaBelle. He's an excellent receiver. I coached him in the spring down at Sarasota. He's an excellent receiver, great hands. He can line up at receiver and run routes. He's a route runner. He'll block. He's a great football player.
Tomlinson in motion.
There's no adjustment to the trade again, and they'll run behind the tight. Well, no, they throw the hitch out here.
Fake to Edwards. And that pass from Volts to Brandon Tricano picks up a huge chunk inside the Bruin 25-yard line. And so 36 yards, it looks like, at least on that play from Jackson Volts to Tricano.
Keeping it pretty simple. Guys soft, going on a little hitch route.
And this time Edwards.
Again. Lane
Nobody
Tomlinson
there.
just pinned the end, and there's nobody contesting the play. Touchdown.
Wow. Nobody home for that Bruin defense that time. Jermaine Edwards.
There's no D-gap player. When they put a tight end over there, there's nobody outside of him. The tight end just pins the guy inside of him, and they pull the guard around the outside for flow, and he's going to walk into the end zone. And I think Coach Clark will keep doing that.
24-yard stroll for Jermaine Edwards. And that's going to be his 4th touchdown on the season. And add to that yards per carry right now. He came into this game averaging 14 yards per carry. Now, granted, he only had maybe 12 carries on the year coming into this game, splitting time in the backfield with Jerome Turner. And that extra point by Owen Tomlinson is good. And so Parrish Community now with 6:01 left to go in the opening frame on top 14-0. And so far it's been special teams, the doom for Bayshore, and not able to convert and get a first down yet on offense.
360 Orthopedics, State College of Florida, Hendrick Honda Bradenton.
I'll tell you, if Bayshore is going to hang with this Parrish Community Bulls team, they're going to have to get something going here on offense. They're going to have to shore up that defense.
Well, when we were coaching at Manatee and Coach Sandberg was up on top of the press box, he used to say, we got to get up by 3. When you get up by 3 scores, that changes things in high school. Kids quit.
14 point swing, guy goes down, you think you're up. Next thing you know, it's 14. Yeah, up 3 scores is big, even like a field goal. They got to have 3 possessions to get up.
Well, especially with the shortened 12-minute quarters, when you talk about a running approach for most high school football teams, it is difficult to get back from that kind of deficit.
That's a live ball.
That is live. That ball did not go into the end zone. It's going to be picked up by Edwards. Edwards got a little bit of running room, but quickly evaporates, and he doesn't even get that ball back out to the 15.
Pooch. Yep. They started moving them up. Yeah.
It's like in baseball. You come up, better go back. So you got to get going. I throw some hitches early here. I throw some.
Hey, fans, don't miss
I think he thought he was going to also roll in the end zone.
Show your team spirit and support with some awesome merchandise. We got shirts, hats, hoodies, cowboys. You got it, we name it. Or you name it, we got it.
And Bayshore is going to take over on their 17-yard line. Caleb Rhodes in the gun. Jaden Judge behind him. It's going to be fake to Judge out there, uncovered.
Well, that's a little plus. Now it's like second or like 3, maybe. I don't know.
Well, if you look at the fancy yardsticks, the best yardsticks in the country, it's 2nd and 2.
Well, we've got no number 11 on the roster.
Nice digital yardsticks that tell you the distance. It's awesome. Yeah.
And now that the sun's gone down, you can actually see them. And Caleb Rhodes is going to throw that thing out there to Nasir Edwards this time. And Edwards is close to a first down, but he's going to be brought down. Nice tackle in the open field that time. And that was John Kane Jr., the brother of James Kane, the former linebacker here at Parrish Community, 4-year starter. And that's his 22nd tackle on the year. We've got ourselves a 3rd down and 1.
He's also the grandson of Steve Hastings, longtime Palmetto.
Get out of here.
No, that's Steve Hastings' grandson, John Keene. Keene Farms, the Keenes are sitting right here and down in front of the press box here.
Coach Hastings, a longtime football coach in this county, longtime school administrator.
Teacher.
Golf coach.
It looks like we've got a timeout.
Longtime family in Manatee County, Keene Farms out there north of the river here. Family's been around a long time.
I think this is a smart timeout by Bayshore. You've got to convert. You've got to get back in this ball game. Well, that's actually, is that not a timeout? Did they move the sticks back?
Manatee Hayes, and a happy birthday.
I shouldn't be talking to you and looking at you. I should be paying attention to the field, I guess. There was a penalty.
I threw you off when I mentioned Steve Hastings.
Yeah, you did. I think that threw me for a little bit of a loop.
They don't even have that in the NFL. That's the amazing thing. They get these, those yardsticks are amazing. I assume they're GPS run, I don't know.
It does help when you don't have to locate the scoreboard and try to look for the exact down and distance, because it can be difficult, especially when the stripes aren't standing out on the field. The hash marks, you can't see them too well. So now Bayshore, instead of a 3rd and 1 and what might have been a easily convertible 3rd down situation, is now 3rd down and 6 from the 21-yard line. We've seen a couple of throws by Caleb Rhodes already, the quarterback for the Bruins. Let's see if they try to get that ball to Judge instead this time. He'll throw it. And he fires one in there across the sticks, and again, that's caught. Number 11.
I think he got it.
It looks like he's across.
God, I got to get something going, huh? Got to have some success.
That's going to be the initial first down.
I keep throwing the hitch if they're going to play soft. They haven't been in trips yet, I don't believe, though. You know, bring a 3rd guy over, they were in doubles.
And we don't know who number 11 is.
We have no idea. And this is Jaden Judge. We know who he is. But again, great pursuit by those linebackers for Parrish Community. But a great job from Jaden Judge rolling out of that tackle attempt and picking up positive yards for the Bruins.
It's first down.
He's one play away from breaking it. I mean, you know,
he's always one guy away from breaking it. Yes,
he's a lot stronger than he looks at that 5'7" frame of his.
It's a generous 5'7".
The guy jumped.
And Jaden Judge again, nice vision to cut that thing back up and knife his way forward for a first down.
And now come back and throw a hitch, maybe. I mean, you got to. I think the key is to be balanced and not panic. That's any team.
Well, right now for Bayshore, not panicking is the key. They have to just play their game. Short passes, run the ball.
You know, if they're down 14,
they can get back in this game. One score, cut it to one score, and they'll be all right.
How soft the guy is up top, though.
Very soft corners. Yep.
2nd down and 3. Let's see if they take advantage of that soft corner. Hand it off again, and Jaden Judge with the ball, the handoff, and Judge, nice moves in the open field to get that into Bulls territory inside the 35-yard line, and that's where we're going to spot that ball, first down and 10.
That's a nice play. You know, the thing is, they got to snap the ball again. You want him to go the distance with 50 yards, because now you got to snap it again.
Well, they started having success after they hit that hitch and got the ball outside. Now the run game's starting to open up.
That's right. Boom. Thank you.
And decent pickup on first down.
It's Judge again.
2nd and 7. I mean, you want 2nd and short if you can, but.
Well, you get about 3.5 yards on that carry. You add that up.
Sometimes you
yards
play
is
a
a win.
team, you give guys a situation like it's. I'm looking. I'm looking at the inside defender on defense. He's just kind of backpedaling, and the outside guy is soft. Throw the hitch, throw the hitch, throw the hitch until the guy gets under one. He's not getting under the first receiver.
And Ben Biasini, the
It's
linebacker
amazing.
that time,
You know what
the
I mean?
tackle for Parrish Community. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 5 now for the Bruins.
I mean, so into the boundary, the guy's off 10 yards. If the second receiver will occupy that guy, here we go.
There it is.
And that's
And
what I'm
there it is
talking
again,
about.
number 11.
And that's what we're doing, Chris. I mean, I'm just kind of looking over going, what's going on here? I'm going, the inside receiver occupy the inside defender and just throw the hitch if that guy's going to play cover 3 forever.
Well, you guys kind of know the offensive coordinator of the Bruins just a little bit, so I'm thinking you guys might be on the same page.
You know, you don't want to. So here we go again into the boundary. You got to read it. I mean, same scenario. It's the same exact thing. There's a number 2 receiver.
And Jaden Judge, little misdirection there in the backfield.
But Judge is so strong. Let's go north and south. I mean, you don't need to. I know you got to wiggle at times, but sometimes going lateral, guys can pursue. Get up the field because you're strong. They're not going to arm tackle you.
And Judge gets that ball out to the 10-yard line. That's going to bring up 2nd down and a long 5, short 6.
Look at up top. Look at the hitch up top.
Wide open. Nobody on him.
And with inside leverage.
But see the hitch up
Whoa,
top.
dangerous ball, though.
But, you know, calm down. You know, get it, gather, and throw. Be soft.
But this is exactly what Bayshore needed to do. So all the credit in the world to Ricky Simmons, the offensive coordinator.
I would run the play right here because they got them back on their heels a little bit. Get a guy in motion, get 5 in motion, take it to him, and give the ball to him.
Here we go, 3rd down and a long 5. Same play again with that hitch, and that's caught. 1st down, touchdown, Bayshore Bruins.
I don't know what we're talking about.
And that is a much-needed touchdown drive for this Bayshore team.
The ball's on the 5-yard
When they
line
had
in the
the-
corner. Was
They had
4
the-
yards deep in
when
the
they
end zone.
came out, this play selection, Chris, they came out through the ball. There was a whole different philosophy this series. Okay.
And again, credit to the offensive coordinator for making that play call and that adjustment out there, recognizing, hey, we're not just going to jam Jaden Judge down their throat.
They got to go for 2 every time, huh? Okay, well,
They'll be going for 2 every time.
well, you know,
more
with
likely.
Chris, it's like what you did at Manatee. You got to have a 2-point play and have a couple of them in your pocket, and you just run them.
We got
I
tight
don't know
bunch.
if we're going to outflank somebody here, or we're going to try to run. You think they're going to pin them
Tight bunch
to the
here.
right side? No, see,
And
that's,
he's going to be Jaden Judge wrapped up and gets out of it. He's going to throw that ball wide open, and the 2-point conversion is good.
you know what?
And that's the Nasir Edwards, number 1.
Extend the play. And if you know the game of football, it's fantastic.
Now, was that designed? Because it looked like he was trapped and then decided to throw that ball.
Actually, it was. I love the Sandlot. Yeah, I love Sandlot football because it'll work sometimes. Okay.
It just worked there because that did not look like a
But
design play.
Chris, you have rubs. You have different things you do. If I was there, we don't have a kicker. I guess we're going to have a pocket full of 2-point plays.
Yeah,
It's
you have
gonna
to
be-
have.
It's
You
going
have
to
to
be
have 6 or
fantastic.
7 2-point
And
plays
that's
ready to
okay
go.
because really, you're just going to outflank a guy, you know, and
Well, really,
your percentages are not that bad.
Your short yardage play back, if you will. You know,
You got to have a little more choices to choose from
Yes.
when you don't have a kicker, though. Because not only that, you're going to go for 4th and 1s repeatedly throughout the game. So you're going to have a better assortment of 4th and short plays to run.
Well, just like Coach Ricky Simmons and Coach Jamal Sanders drew it up right there, huh?
Well, it's like, you know, if you got headsets, and I can look back 10 years ago, I'm looking at stuff going, guys, I don't know if we're going to, I think we ran 12 and 13 zone at Manatee, 2 plays all the way down the field. I mean, we're going to do a couple things and do them well. I don't know if they're going to make a transition here with the coverage. I don't know. Looks like they're playing cover 3.
And Jermaine Edwards back deep for the Bulls.
And if number 2's getting under 1, you just throw the hitch. If the guy replaces, you just throw it where the guy leaves. Okay,
We've got a different person,
man.
different player
See,
kicking off.
you
the
should be
Bruins.
pooched. See, Chris, you got to pooch it.
And there's a seam.
Well, if you pooch, you buy time for guys to get down there, and sometimes it goes off their ankle. Because if if
I
you're
think
kicking
Jaden Judge did a kickoff.
that's what it was, I think, right?
He went and picked up
Yep,
the
you
tee.
got the tee just now. So that return by Edwards out to just nearly midfield, and that's where Parrish Community is going to begin 1st down and 10 at their own 49-yard line. Outstanding field position for the Bulls.
I'm not sure I want a fatigued Jaden Judge pulling a hamstring on a kickoff.
I mean,
Kicking the ball.
it's one thing to return a kick, not have the guy kicking it off. You're right.
Correct.
I mean, and
When you
extending
need
the
him
leg
with
that
the ball
way.
in his hands. Yeah.
And he's so strong. He's like a wound-up toy. You don't want him pulling anything.
First down and 10. Volts, nice little flip
Nice
to his receiver, R.J. Mosley.
Well,
And
ball's
Mosley
out.
got that ball on the
I
ground.
think Bayshore might have got
I
it.
think Bayshore's got it.
I think.
There's
I don't
one
know.
Parrish player in there.
No signal yet from any of the players, and it's
Nope,
going to be
Parrish.
retained by the Bulls. Second down.
82, was that Mosley?
That was Mosley.
He ended up coming out of there with the ball after he fumbled it.
And still a
the
nice
same,
pickup.
The same blocking scheme. It was basically a jet sweep. It's a pass because he flipped it in front, but they're just pinning the end still.
And that's going to get
Getting outside.
into Bruin territory at the 46-yard line. Second down and 5. And for the first time this evening, we got Jerome Turner carrying the football. He's going to get a first down for the Bulls inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line. And Parrish Community on the march again, responding to that Bayshore touchdown.
Yeah, the Parrish offensive line still dominating the defensive front of Bayshore. Basically, the run plays aren't reaching any resistance until they get to the second level.
And Volts high snap, pulls it down, got Young in the flats, and Young wrapped up. Nice tackle that time out there by LaDavian Johnson, number 5. And that could have went for a lot more if Johnson doesn't wrap up Young, because there was nobody behind him. Second down, 6 yards to go.
They're going to run it right, Chris. They outflank him. The guy traded.
And Turner with a handoff.
Tight end
Turner's
trade.
got room off the right side. Jerome Turner.
touch.
Jerome Turner touchdown. Parrish Community, and they
I
respond.
mean, the tight end trades again. He gets outside.
Yeah,
He gets
they trade the tight end still, and there's no adjustment coming from the defense. As actually, they're in cover 3 with the strong safety to the 2 receiver side, so they're outnumbered already, and then they trade the tight end over.
I mean, it's just an adjustment too. If you're watching, you're watching a lot of video, when a guy's trading, they're probably going to run that 80% of the time. So he trades. You got to have an adjustment to it.
And we are still technically in the first quarter. 10 seconds left to go in the opening frame as Owen Tomlinson on to attempt his 3rd extra point. And it is good. And so with 10 seconds still to go in the opening quarter, Parrish Community moves on top now 21-8, just as Bayshore clawed their way back into this game. Parrish Community says, not so fast, and shuts the door. But Bayshore, guys, you guys talked about it on defense. They have got to adjust. They made the adjustments that we were talking about on offense. They read your mind out there. They've got to do the same thing now on defense, and they've got to widen those backers out.
You see Parrish offense and defense coming over under the tent, looking at the sideline huddles. So they're seeing stuff in real time, where Bayshore does not have any kind of huddle set up or anything over there, no cameras. So their kids are going to have to rely on the coaches, and the coaches are going to have to rely on what they can see from the sideline.
And what they remember.
And that's a lot tougher.
It's difficult. Your eye can't see everything that's going on the way it can on a replay on a camera.
And you can't see from the sideline like we can see from up here. That's why teams put coaches on top of the press box. You have a much better perception up here, and you're out away from the crowd. And it's tough to do it on the sideline when you're calling plays and not have any kind of input from the huddle sideline.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it.
Yeah, we've got Edwards back again along with Judd to receive the kickoff for the Bruins. Again, 10 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. Parrish on top, 21-8. And this is a short kickoff. Edwards is going to field it over his shoulder, basket catch. He's still struggling to get that ball.
Edwards.
And Edwards is going to be bobbled up. Basket catch. And boy, that Parrish Community special teams on their kickoff coverage again, just forcing Bayshore into poor starting field position, this time inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, that time they switched Judge and Nasir Edwards flip sides, and you could tell it was pre-programmed that Tomlinson just kicked it away from Judge to the other side.
And I think that's the MO that we've seen so far.
That would be smart when a guy had 3 kick returns for touchdowns last week.
And somehow, some way, there's still 3 seconds left in the opening quarter. And Judge is going to get that's actually a keeper by Rhodes. Fake the give, keeps the ball. End of the first quarter. And from Parrish Community High School, we've had a high-scoring first quarter. And unfortunately for the Bruins of Bayshore, most of that scoring's been done by the Bulls. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here on Manatee Schools Television, and we'll be right back with the start of the second quarter.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear a big round of applause for the other students here. The PCHS Girls Varsity Cheerleading Squad, the Bluebells Dance Team, and the PCHS Band Department.
At that time, Jaden Judge wrapped up in the backfield. And Gage Cameron with the tackle for the Bulls.
I think the Whiteouts, they got to reduce their alignment out there. It's just so far out there, it's hard to get on the football. Ball on the left hash.
And that really...
It's still soft as can be. Inside receiver occupied 2 because he's not getting under 1.
And that's almost back to the original line of scrimmage. Rhodes this time looks to uncork, but he's got Edwards wide open and barely overthrows him. Had to look over his shoulder. Edwards couldn't track it and maybe inches away from his grasp.
Nice call.
That was.
Vertical route, good route. Man, got to hook it up.
And now Bayshore with the unenviable task, down 21-8 and having to punt from inside their own 10-yard line, and they don't have a punter. And don't tell me they're going to go for this.
Oh.
No, here comes somebody on the punt.
They got a good matchup there. They had a linebacker, Holton Graham, trying to run with Nasir Edwards, and he runs wide open.
That was a touchdown.
Now, again, we talked about the game last night in the NFL where the Detroit Lions had the fake punt from their own 17. So I don't think that this is the same situation exactly, obviously, but with no real punter, it looks like White's on the punt again for the Bruins. Or let's see if that's somebody different here. And that's blocked. Doesn't matter who's going to recover the ball at the end at the bottom of that scrum. It's going to be
Cameron
came in.
Came running.
He's on a stunt. Cameron came in
and just ran right through the gap and blocked it. Yeah, they're going to get the ball inside the 10.
Yeah, he went inside a gap and that was it. Yep. Man, special
teams. He came from off like a blitz and just timed it up perfectly.
You know, we talked about that Bayshore offensive line being laden with upperclassmen and having a lot of experience, and they're not really covering those gaps, and I'm sure those are the same guys that are out there on special teams, man in the trenches for the Bruins up front.
I remember years ago when we'd come back from scouting a team and we'd tell Coach Canan that they had all their guys back, and he'd say, well, look at their record. That's not always a good thing.
And a handoff that time actually to Lane Tomlinson, and he's going to be into the end zone for a touchdown on that first play after getting the punt blocked. And so Parrish extends their lead. 27-8 with the extra point still to come. And boy, Bayshore's lack of a kicking game has put them in a deeper hole than they otherwise would be.
Yeah, you're at a loss as a coach. I don't know what you would do. You know, we had the pleasure at Manatee of always being pretty good on special teams, having specialists.
And so, is the running clock still in effect now in high school football? It's 35 points.
Not till the second half.
The second. So if you're up 35 points, second half, then they have to do it.
Well, right now they're at 20, so they got their 3 scores that you were talking about, Chuck. That you always talked about.
Yeah, I mean,
and you can see head coach Dylan Clark there getting his players jacked up, and they're getting him jacked up. His team up on top, 28-8, 20-point lead with 11:06 still remaining in the first half. And again, the Parrish community effort being aided tremendously by the lack of special teams for the Bruins. We've had now 2 touchdowns set up and basically gift wrapped and handed to Parrish community because of not having a punter on their team.
It's important at every level. I look back 1992 state game we played Fort Lauderdale. We played Dillard. They didn't have a punter. they didn't have a punter, and we blocked a couple or something, and it just changes the complexity of the ball game. So
it's amazing they made it that far without a punt.
I think Blake Keller, did he block one against Miramar? I mean, changed the complexity on TV. And
against Miramar.
He blocked one, blocked another one.
Scoop and score on that block punt.
Yes, he did.
Turned the game around on that Labor Day game.
I think he blocked one at St. Thomas Aquinas in 010 or 012. Could have picked it up and scored. And O'Corn ran him down because, it's just, you got to have a special team situation. It's just the way it is.
And Owen Tomlinson boots this thing short.
They can change the game.
And it's going to be taken by an up back this time for the Bruins.
Good field position.
And that's Devon Scott.
50-yard line.
Getting the Bruins exactly into something positive here with 10:59 to go in the second quarter. 28-8. Obviously, a touchdown's not going to get them back in this game necessarily, but they need something positive to happen here and put some type of points on the board. If you're going to get back in the game, now is the time.
It's early. It's early in the second quarter. They score here on this drive. They're only down 2 scores.
Correct.
They have a chance to cut it to 1 before the half. So
it's a big one.
This is a big possession.
I mean, you really can't go down 35-8 at halftime or 42. It's just you can't let it get out of hand. This is there are trips. They haven't been in trips yet. I mean, formation wise, to see what Parrish would do in that formation.
Number 3, Jaden Judge in the backfield behind Caleb Rhodes, and Nasir Edwards in front, and Judge gets past the first waves of defenders, but he's thrown down that time.
They're just continuing to do some things,
That's Ashton Springfield that time for the Bulls, just tossing Judge to the ground. But forward progress is going to get Judge out to probably about the 49-yard line, just a little shy of the 49-yard line, pick up maybe 2 yards. Second down and 8.
I didn't know
looked like he just ran a zone read.
Rob Lyons was secondary coach for Bayshore.
Well, I'm not sure if he's out there tonight. He's been away from the team for a little bit. He's been their secondary coach, though, for over 20 years at Bayshore. And Rhodes on first down. He's got a receiver out in the flats. That looked like Giovanni Altine, the sophomore wide receiver.
Not quite 20.
And going to get the ball into Bulls territory. Third down and about 3 yards to go. As Rose looks to the sideline. Judge once again behind him. Up back, H-back. Nasir Edwards, and is going to go to Judge. No surprise. Jaden Judge right at the marker, powers forward, and Judge should have that first down. It's going to be close.
By the football, I think he got it.
I think he got it. He's moving the chains. First down.
You're right, Coach.
That was extra effort. You saw him get his shoulder pad with the pad level down and driving his legs like he was riding a bicycle, moving that pile.
Yeah, he's a workhorse, that's for sure. Goodness.
Again, it's not just speed and elusiveness with Jaden Judge. He's got some power in his game, too. And Bayshore sure as heck needed it there. Although we can guarantee that would have been a fourth down attempt. They don't need it. Rhodes back to pass. Got Edwards out there. One tackle to make or miss, and he couldn't do it. Outstanding job by Holton Graham, the tackling machine. 5'4" dynamo.
Number 5, you got to kind of stalk the guy, give the guy a chance to catch it. The guy ran right through him.
You got to make a move out there if you're Nasir Edwards and make that guy miss, and you would have picked up close to that first down yardage needed. So again, good play call. We talked about stretching that defense out horizontally.
Yep.
They got Judge in the slot down here, so watch for this.
And he's looking to the boundary. And it's again caught, though, on that boundary side, number 11, the mysterious receiver for the Bruins.
Chris.
And I just want to ask any high school coach, please update your rosters. It's so difficult to do a game when you have guys out there and you don't even know who they are. That's my.
You want to promote your players.
Yeah. We have no. I mean, I'd like to say who this guy's making these nice catches, and we can't say it.
We're going to find out at halftime. It will be a mission for us to find this out. He's doing a great job out there.
Yeah, he's having a good game.
I think initially you got to stretch the field with 4 verticals and read people, and guys will run by people. They can do that. They got good receivers, from what I can see, that can run by people. But they're soft. Goodness gracious. Have the inside.
They are. They're
if you have the inside guy run a slant, to occupy number 2 and just throw the hitch all day long, I'd probably throw it 8 times in a row because the way they line up, you run the slant, he's going to occupy 2, just throw the hitch, let him catch it, put a guy in space, see what happens right down here. And that's basically kind of what they got to do. This ball game and get them out of their defensive coverage.
Well, it seems to me they are making the adjustments they need to make on the offensive side of the football. We're not seeing the same kind of adjustments necessarily in the defense yet.
PCHS.
Richard Simmons, the defensive coordinator for the Bruins, and Ricky Simmons, the offensive coordinator.
Both ex-Hurricanes and played under Joe Canan at Manatee, along with their quarterback coach, Breon Carnes. And they all came from Sarasota last year. They were at Sarasota. So
let's not forget our guy, Jeff Charlton, out there. I think, one of my guys.
He played for under Howie DeCristofaro.
Hey, played under me. Right?
I don't acknowledge those years.
And this time it's the handoff to number 5, LaDavian Johnson. He's in there at tailback. Again, he's the starter for the Bruins last year, and he gets positive yards.
He might have a first down. He's right at the sticks.
He's right there.
Good tackle made by number 32, Ben Busy.
And they're putting that marker. There they go. First down. So LaDavian Johnson picking up another needed first down, and Bayshore keeping that momentum alive. Life support still there. And again, we see Judge lined up in the slot. Nasir Edwards in motion. Rhodes looks to go to the bottom of the screen. He's almost picked off. Boy, Gage Cameron that time had the ball in his hands and couldn't hold on to it.
Almost another big play for Cameron. I think he's started his freshman year. This is his 3rd year as a starter, and he's cranking up 100 tackles a year. And obviously, with us being in school, only being 5 years old, he's going to be the school's all-time leading tackler. So.
Yeah, he's got to catch up to
he's a junior. He's a good
James
player.
Keene as well, also a 4-year starter here, but he's been a starter since day one. And their defensive coordinator, Frank Post, called him an extra defensive coordinator on the field.
John Keene?
No, Gage Cameron.
Oh, Gage Cameron.
And this time, Rhodes got a receiver, Nasir Edwards, and can't hold on. And nice defense that time, coming over to break that pass up. And it was Elroy Serrata that time. It looked like Nasir Edwards had his hands on that thing and could not haul it in.
Eloy's a two-sport guy, plays baseball. I know he was up with the varsity as a freshman on the Parrish baseball team. He's
secondary guy.
A great play by Serrata in that secondary, because that would have put the Bruins up probably near a first down and goal situation. As it is, 3rd down and 10. Big play here again. Rhodes got another receiver, and again, good defense closing in on the receiver. I couldn't get the number on that guy. It looks like it might have been
25.
Eloy Serrata again. So Serrata, back-to-back great plays out of the secondary, and they've got Bayshore down on a 4th down and 10, and as we know, Bayshore is going to go for this. .705 left to go in the second quarter. Bayshore taking their time getting out there on the field and getting set.
They got about 3 seconds left before the delay of game.
And Rhodes gets that ball just in time. He's looking downfield. He's going to try to run that ball, but he's going to uncork one. Got a man wide open and overthrew his intended receiver that time. And boy, oh boy, the opportunity was there for Bayshore to close that gap, and instead the Bulls are going to wind up taking over 1st down and 10 on their own 33-yard line. And you got to believe that Caleb Rhodes would love to have that one back on the run, but nobody near his receiver. And so here comes the Bulls offense led by senior Jackson Volts. And behind him is going to be, once again, Jermaine Edwards at tailback. 1st down and 10, tight splits for that offensive line. You expect to start taking the air out of the ball here. Or not.
Maybe not. Touchdown.
I had a feeling they'd throw it deep, though.
And wide open, chemistry, Young And Chemistry Young, touchdown.
Chris.
He just ran a post, ran right
I
by
was just
all
getting
four
ready to say.
DBs.
I was just getting ready to say that. I love stretching the field early and see what's going on, and Bayshore can do it too. They can do it too. You just got to trust it and do it. I thought they just run by people. I mean, 4 verticals, and then from 4 verticals, you can modify your pass situation with the dig routes but you know.
67 yards on that touchdown from Jackson Bowles to Chemistry Young. Sophomore wide receiver that we talked about before this game had a drop in the end zone.
And those
earlier.
are hard to catch when you're wide open too. You know what I mean? You got to really focus. He threw a nice ball to let him run under it.
Bowles
Nice.
throws a good deep ball.
Threw a nice
Does
ball.
a good job on deep balls.
Did a nice ball.
And Lane Tomlinson gets that hold down, and his brother Owen Tomlinson boots it through. And with that extra point attempt, we are now creeping dangerously close to running clock territory for that second half as the Bulls go up 35-8 with 6:47 left to go on the clock.
That 2-point conversion might be
How about that? Wow.
the difference between the running clock and
The scoring's not over yet. We've
No,
had a
that's
lot of points put on this board already, again, halfway through that second quarter. And just when Bayshore looked like they might be able to scratch and claw their way back into this thing, a couple of opportunities don't pan out, a couple of drop balls, a couple of nice defensive plays by Serrata. And wouldn't you know it, the first play from offense for the Bulls, 67 yards to pay dirt.
Yeah, you know, you really got to execute. When you get a play like the guy was wide open, you got to execute the play. You get a couple of them, you know, because a good team like this, you know.
Well, they sold that too. I mean, you saw those tight splits up there. You saw those offensive linemen bunched in there. Given the situation with the score and the clock, you kind of thought, all right, let's take the air out of it. Wrong. Let's put some air underneath it. And so back once again, you've got now stacked behind one another. Jaden Judge behind Nasir Edwards, maybe trying to make Tomlinson figure out where am I going to kick this ball, and he'll just squib it instead. And that's going to be picked up that time.
32.
We don't have a 32 for Bayshore. So, again, one of those unknown Bayshore players. And we'll try to get number 32 and number 11. We'll try to get those names out there, even if the second half doesn't last very long.
You know, Parrish, they play hard. Their defense, they run to the football. They're playing tough.
Yeah, they're well coached.
And, you know, hey, they're well coached
Very
offensively.
organized.
They seem they're very disciplined to me offensively.
Well, we talked
They
about
do
those
some good
linebackers.
things.
And Caleb Rhodes looking downfield again under heat, and Caleb Rhodes is going to go down. And we talked about that defense swarming, and there they go, dropping the quarterback inside the 35-yard line at the 33. And he had time. He was looking downfield. I think they were trying some of those vertical routes. Now out of necessity, down 23
It's like
points.
early in the game when it's a close game, you know, do it. Now you're like, you know, you're down 30 points. They're going to be throwing a football. I mean, you know, they can run it, but
27-point lead for the Bulls. Fake that time to Nasir Edwards, and Jaden Judge is going to get the handoff, and he's going to not even get back. Tough running down there at the bottom of that quagmire. But Jaden Judge is going to wind up getting maybe a yard. And that ball is going to be spotted just outside the 35-yard line, just shy of the 36. Third down and 11 to go for the Bruins. They find themselves behind the chains all night long. The only success they've had is when they've been able to get that ball to the outside in those quick hitch passes that we talked about. We have not seen Jaden Judge, other than maybe a couple of carries, get loose beyond that defensive line. And Rhodes looking downfield again with plenty of time. Got a receiver. Edwards, nice catch. Over the shoulder, basket grab. First down, Bruins. Inside Parrish community territory at the 42-yard line.
He took a shot on the sideline there, and he's not gotten up yet. So I hope he's all right. He was extended, catching the ball, and the safety came over the top and hit him.
And Edwards, one of the premier players both on offense and defense for the Bruins. So not just for the health of the young man, but for this Bruins squad to have any chance of clawing back in there. They cannot lose the attrition battle. Head coach Jamal Sanders coming out onto the field now.
I didn't see a trainer come over. Looks like maybe the Parrish.
I think the
trainer.
Parrish community trainer is over there on the sideline attending to Nasir. Referee moving the Parrish community players back. And here comes Bayshore trainers now.
Oh, that's just Coach Sanders over there.
We got in the blue shirt right there, young lady.
And it looks like they're looking at his legs. I thought maybe it was going to be a.
He was able to
Might
pop
have
up.
got the wind knocked out of him.
Might have twisted his leg going down.
He's got a little bit of limp in his step, so I don't think it was just the wind being knocked out of him. He's a little bit gimpy, but at least he's up on his own 2 feet with a little bit of help from his friends. And let's just hope Nasir Edwards is able to find his way back into this game tonight, and no matter what, hope that this is not anything that's got some sticking power to it. And it doesn't look like it does by putting weight on both of those legs. Even though he's limping, it's a good sign that he's able to put weight on it. And back to the action now. That effort by Nasir Edwards, that spark hopefully for that Bruin offense is going to put it again inside of Parrish community territory to about the 42, in between the 42 and 43 yard line. First down and 10 for the Bruins. And Edwards still hasn't gotten off that field yet. He's still walking gingerly. I
don't think we'll be seeing him anymore tonight, just from the way it took him, the time it took him to get off the field.
And on the left hash, the Bruin offense gets back to work.
Number 10.
And again, Caleb Rose with the pass. He's got his receiver out there. Outstanding throw that time. Nice spin on that ball.
See, these are just things you have to do early in the ball game.
And that pass complete.
They're going to go down the field. You can throw curls, outs, slants, double
Giovanni
slant.
Altine.
I think that was in motion, too.
And that's going to help you get Jaden Judge, your Mr. Everything, back into this
Space.
ball game.
Yeah, it gets you some space.
And that's not going to help things as Rhodes falls on the ball. It looks like he could have picked that thing up, but maybe
you might want to pick it up and see what you can do.
Yeah, you're down by 27 points. But nonetheless, that's going to be a loss on the play, huge loss on the play of about 10 yards, maybe about 8 yards, all the way back to the 34-yard line. And that's going to be second down and 17. As Rhodes trots back, lined up at the shotgun snap lined up for the shotgun snap behind center. And here there comes that Parrish community defense. Nice job stepping up that time by Rhodes. Rhodes able to get rid of it. Jaden Judge on the reception, and Jaden Judge with a Bayshore first down. Another little spark for this Bruin offense.
Like Eloy Serrata again, upending him there, went down to his legs. And
we talked to Coach Sanders earlier in the week, and he was telling us that, hey, Caleb Rhodes can spin that ball. He was a backup quarterback at Lakewood Ranch last year, and now pressed into action, down 27 points. We've seen some nice throws, especially on this drive. Nasir Edwards caught a great ball, and now that time, good throw. First down and 10, 16-yard line. Bayshore needs to get points. Jaden Judge on the handoff, reverses field, cuts it back, and he's brought down that time. And it looks like
initial tackle made by number 11,
Holton Graham was in on that tackle along with Jude Johnson. Pickup of maybe 3 yards. Second down and 7 to go for the Bruins from the 12-yard line. Got 3 receivers out. There's a slot man on that reception. And
I don't think Bayshore doesn't have an answer for Parrish's offense, and they're going to go down and score. I think they're going to score a lot of points. But they've got some success doing some things like this. What they're doing, if they would have done it early in the game, they kind of keep their offense off the field, keep Parrish off the field, and just go down and score methodically like this. It's not bad. I mean, they're doing some things.
Devon Scott on that last
space
reception, 3rd down, 4 yards to go.
Yeah,
timeout.
I mean, this is crucial. They don't get in here. I mean, you don't want them to go down and score with a minute
I think on that last bubble, they had the slot receiver do a good job and pin the strong safety, and the receiver tried to go inside. You know, he got a nice gain, but I think if he stays outside,
hash number sideline.
He might score on that. So you got 3rd and 4, and Bayshore has to put it in here. They have to score here, I think, to have a chance in this game, to stay in the game.
Without a doubt.
To avoid the running clock.
Well, see, and what they're doing, so they're keeping the, what did they run off 6 minutes? They're down here, 2 minutes left. I mean,
very time-consuming drive to be sure, especially when you're down 27.
And with the big throw to Nasir Edwards, it kept it alive. But yeah, they have to get it. They have to punch the ball in the end zone here.
And Caleb Rose looks out to the flats. LaDavian Johnson. Johnson cuts it up and almost into the end zone before he stood up. Outstanding tackle that time.
33.
By Alex Eldridge for the Bulls.
It'll be a 1st and goal, though, for Bayshore.
And that clock keeps on ticking. After that first out, if that ball gets spotted here.
That might be better for Bayshore than he did.
You know what? I was just thinking the same thing because now the Parrish offense is not going to have time.
You can't keep on the field. I don't think they have an answer for their offense.
Correct.
So let's not forget the last time they had the ball 67 yards, one play. Jaden Judge on the handoff, and Judge tries to power his way up the middle, and Judge is going to be stopped short. No signal from the refs.
1 foot line. Or
2nd
inside
down.
of the foot line. Right, just short of the goal line.
35.
I mean, and I think this is, I'm a big proponent of the shotgun, but this is where you need to get under center and run quarterback.
Sneak it. That Caleb Rhodes is a big quarterback.
Push him in.
Yeah. Running back, you're allowed to push him now.
I need to talk to Tim about that. Now you can just push people in, right?
2nd down and goal.
Under center.
This time it's Judge again. Judge tries to get outside, bounces it back inside, and Jaden
Touchdown.
Judd's in the end zone. Bayshore back on the board.
He didn't fumble.
They signal touchdown already.
I mean, he's strong. He's got to get in from 1 yard, even if there's no blocking.
He's got that leg drive that we talked about. He's got good vision down there as well. So you saw him try to bounce it outside, cut it back inside, and drove his way into the end zone.
He's playing hard. He's doing what he's just.
Well, again, the recipe for success, like we talked about, throw that ball, loosen that defense up horizontally, get them to back off and widen out.
That's exactly right.
And this is going to open things up for Judge. But the Bayshore defense has got to stiffen.
Same formation last time they went for 2, the tight bunch.
And Rhodes is going to keep that, and Rhodes is going to be in the end zone for the 2-point conversion again.
Best goal line play in football probably is the jet sweep, reading the end.
Did he read it? Yeah. I guess he read the end. If they're blocking the thing correctly, right?
Quarterback power with the jet sweep. He can read it.
You work it. You got a guy who can make good decisions. It's going to. So anyway, minute left in the ball game. Yeah, you just got to keep them off the field. It's man.
Minute 4 here. Now, Bayshore, obviously no kicking game. No one's going to even think probably about an onside kick here, but nonetheless, you've got a minute 4. Last time Parrish Community had the ball.
At this point last week when Parrish was playing Lemon Bay, it was a similar situation. Parrish got the ball and threw a screen to their running back. Defensive back came up, ripped the ball out of his hands while he was still on his feet, and took it 50 yards for a touchdown. And totally changed the complexion.
Open the game wide open.
And I'm sure that's what Coach Clark is thinking right now. He doesn't want to see happen in the last minute here.
So you think a conservative approach by Coach Clark here to close this half out with, what is that now, a 19-point lead?
That's what I would recommend. You got a big lead. Maybe run one play and see if you pop it and get something out there. But if not, after what happened last week,
come out, run the same play. We went 65 yards. You just oh no, I ran by a guy. Really?
And they caught him sleeping last time. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I thought they're gonna just run the ball.
That's kind of the first deep ball they've thrown, right? Kind of stretch.
It was
stretch them.
A couple shots into the end zone, but that was the first one that any significant chunks
between
downfield.
between the shots in the end zone and that post, though, none of them have been covered. Anytime a Parrish receiver has run past 15 yards, he's been wide open. So maybe you do it again.
Maybe.
Well, here's an interesting play for the Bruins as
these
a
guys
kickoff with the squib.
It's so funny. It's really weird.
Offsides by a bunch.
These guys are
Nobody
offsides.
call it.
Nobody calls it. When you're offsides on kickoff, right here we saw it, right? Guy's 2 yards in front of the ball. It's offsides.
Well, not tonight. It's not.
Not when it's 35-16.
Well, it's gotten a little bit interesting here with 1:02 now left to go. And I said the last time I thought they're going to go conservative and take the air out of it. I'm thinking the same thing now.
They didn't have Judge kick, though.
So they take a knee, right, and just kind of let's go.
I don't know if I take a knee. I may run something safe and see if we run a quarterback draw. Or
you got to run a play
and see if you get close. Get some yardage, and you might want to run it. But I'd keep the ball on the ground, just keep the clock running, and if you're not successful, then the half's going to run out, and you're not going to be hurt by that either.
Jerome Turner in the backfield now, alongside Jackson Volz. Let's see if he gets that handoff. It's going to be a jet sweep.
That's good. You got a
15-yard
gain. Got out of bounds.
Again with a nice chunk of yards on first down here.
Now that changes your thinking now.
It may open things up for them.
Run to play the other way. Same thing. Just run it.
And it's basically they've run it all night. Pin in the end, and there's no run support to come up. Whether it's the running back running it or the guy jet sweep coming.
Empty set here, huh?
And Tomlinson splits out wide, and it's going to go to Tomlinson that time. Volts. Nice move by Tomlinson to get it to the outside, and Tomlinson, no one out there, and Lane Tomlinson with a big chunk of yards, but we've got some flags down on the field. Usually that
they got a guy hit a guy in the back maybe or something. Everybody's there. It'd be a great play here, right though, Chris. You know what I thought they were going to do right there? It'd be wide open. It's double bubble, double pass. You throw it, everybody's because you don't know. They're going to throw it out there. Everybody's coming up. It's wide open. Double pass right here. It would be even though there's 30 seconds in the half, they're still going to come get the guy. I don't know.
We saw it last year with Braden River and Manatee when they ran the double, the halfback pass late in the game, and we were shocked that the wide receiver ran by. Everybody was wide open because there was only a minute left in the game.
And Tomlinson got to that outside with ease based on that hold, and that's going to bring the Bulls back inside the 30, or just outside the 30-yard line. Ball spotted.
But that was a real safe play, a screen to a receiver. And I expect something like that again here, and maybe see if they pop it. And if they do, then they can take a shot.
A little bit of movement, no flag down.
Oh, he's right in the middle.
Boy, that time Turner is gone. Stumbled, but Turner, no one there. Touchdown Bulls, and wow.
So they just run a safe play up the middle on 1st and 14, and nobody touches him.
Why throw a double bubble when all you got to do is hand it off?
Is there an answer? Can they answer? Can Bayshore answer? I'm not sure they can answer. They got in, made it 16, so I don't know.
41 points now scored in the first half by Parrish Community. Extra point pending. And Owen Tomlinson on for that extra point. And that's just got to suck the wind right out of that Bruins sideline when they thought they may have had a chance to get back into this ball game.
He split that thing. He was going. He almost stumbled. He gathered himself and scored.
And a low kick by Tomlinson, but it's through the uprights and it's good. And with 39 seconds left to go in the first half, it's now 42-16. It looks like that running clock may be back on the table.
42, Bayshore 16.
And we talked about this at the beginning of the broadcast. These teams, both with a victory in the series, only 2 times have they met. Again, Parrish Community, one of the newest school in Manatee County. And both of these teams have blown each other out. 2 years ago was the Bruins with a 51-13 victory. And then last year, Parrish Community laid the lumber on top of Bayshore 62-7. And it looks like this game is headed for the same type of outcome, unless Bayshore can do something defensively to keep Parrish Community out of the end zone.
Well, 2 years ago, Parrish still had no seniors. So last year was that first year they had seniors. And it's a much bigger school than Bayshore, enrollment-wise. And Coach Clark, new Clark here, coach here, is doing a great job.
Let's hear a Bulls horn. Stop, everyone.
Very well coached. And they're getting a little bit of a tradition here, and they're starting to believe in themselves.
And we talked a little about Coach Clark. Spent some time at Southeast High School, up at Plant High School under James Booth, who we all know, Plant City, excuse me, who we all know quite well.
And Alonzo
High School before coming out here to Parrish Community. And he's, you know, again, last week they lost by 20 points to Lemon Bay, but that was a tight ball game last week. His team actually outgained Lemon Bay in the first half before those plays that unfolded and really blew that game open in Lemon Bay's favor. But
it really doesn't look good for Bayshore's district chances when you think about it.
No, it does not.
Who's in their district?
Lemon Bay.
Lemon Bay, Booker.
So Parrish has Braden River in their district. Is that correct? Parrish, Braden River, yes, I think they do.
Yes. And that's the 3S District 13.
And Port Charlotte.
Southeast.
Port Charlotte is very talented. They'll be the favorite in that district.
Caleb Rose looking deep. Got a receiver short on the sidelines. That's going to be Devon Scott again for the Bruins. 24 seconds left. That clock stops with the first down.
You might want to use a timeout here or spike it.
And the clock does roll, and the Bruins just taking their time getting that play in from the sideline. Rose looking at his wristband, and we're now inside. They're going in motion.
Killing it would have saved about 18 of the seconds they wasted.
Yeah, this is gonna be the last play. And he stepped out of bounds.
We have one more play.
Well, time to chuck it deep if you're the Bruins here. Although there might be some type of room for some trickeration. You're going to need something.
Looking lateral on the,
you read my mind.
Boundary here.
You read my mind.
Hitched to number 11, the guy we don't know his name, and he can pitch it back to Judge. It looks like they're going to take a knee. They do. They took a knee.
Well, I guess better to get nobody hurt on that final play than shoot for a hopeless shot at the end zone. And with zeros on the clock in the opening half, your score from Parrish Community High School, it's the Parrish Community Bulls 42 and the Bayshore Bruins 16. We're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break. We're going to leave it right here on MSTV so you guys can get an opportunity to watch the bands here perform from Parrish Community High School, and we'll be back to begin the third quarter in just a little while.
The band is under the direction of Christina Orsini. Color guard is under the instruction of Brittany Wakely. And the drum line is under the instruction of Mario Reyna. Additional thanks to Janelle Hargraves, Jeremy Hargraves, and Nick Kurtz for their help. Tonight, the band will feature the music of James Bond's film selection this season and will include the James Bond theme, Skyfall, Live and Let Live Die, and Writing on the Wall. Stay vigilant in this time of spies. Is that a friend or a double agent before your eyes? Drum Major Chateras Handy, is your band ready? Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Taking the field now is the Pride of Parrish Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Kendall Carrier and is led on the field by drum majors Andrea Ozuero and Curtis Reynolds. The Pride of Parrish will be performing part 1 and 2 of the fall show, Beautifully Broken. Movement 1 is Venus. Movement 2 is Mirror Mirror. Drum majors, is your band ready?
see the final minute ticking away at halftime. Back at Parrish Community High School. And the Bulls on top of the Bruins 42-16. And guys, when we talk about the first half of this football game, there were some obvious things that have put Bayshore inside the hole that they're in right now. Most notably that defense and their failure to adjust to what Parrish Community was doing on offense and just getting dominated up in the trenches. Yeah,
and Parrish offensive line has had their way with the defensive front at Bayshore, and Bayshore had no answer for it. And I'm afraid we're probably going to see more of that in the second half. Either that or just decide he wants to work on, Coach Clark decides he wants to work on some other things or show some things, put some things on film for other teams to see. Other than that, I think they could run their base offense probably with the way their offensive line is playing right now, and this lead would be safe.
And on the other side of the ball, though, you know, if we want to take some positives out of what Bayshore did, they did make some adjustments. They opened up the passing game. I don't think that we knew that Caleb Rhodes could actually throw the ball as well as we probably saw him in the first half. And we saw that maybe had a couple of guys on the outside, and Nasir Edwards who got hurt. We saw out there Eli Roberts, who's number 11. We've discovered the identity now of number 11.
To the Bayshore newspaper staff for getting that information to us. And we heard a call came from home from their teacher, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And number 32, Jashawn Judge. So we now know the identity of our mystery players.
Yeah, he's the freshman, younger brother of Jaden Judge.
And so when we look at those positives of the Bruins out there, you're going to have to take something positive out of this ball game if you're head coach Jamal Sanders to bring back to your players. And when you watch this stuff on tape, they made some good adjustments on offense. Now, they have yet to really uncork their star running back number 3, Jalen Judge, who we just talked about, his little brother. But so far, Judge, outside of a few runs where he showed some impressive moves, some impressive vision, cutback ability, and power driving his legs, he has not had that explosive long run as of yet. So, you know, that's not their normal MO on the season so far. It's been Jaden Judge left, Jaden Judge right, and Jaden Judge up the middle as their entire offense. Tonight, Bayshore is at least leaning on some other aspects of their offense to try to open that up, and let's see if it's effective in the second half.
And we said in the open, that's what they're going to have to do. They couldn't rely just on Judge. They had to get some other guys involved.
And speaking of other guys, it looks like we've got our stat guy, Josh Soto, dropping off some stats here, so we'll maybe be able to get you some yards that we have here for both Parrish Community and for Bayshore High School as we get set to bring this third quarter into action here. They've extended halftime a little bit, put some more time back on the clock. You see Bayshore still stretching out there on the field. So, Coach, I think they were listening to you on offense when you talked about those hitch passes, when you talked about what you need to do. We didn't see the vertical seam routes, really, that you were trying to get them to do, especially early in this ball game. But they did open things up in the passing game as we talked about. So, do you got any advice for them now? How do we do this on defense? What are we going to do?
I don't know, but I think Bayshore coming out, I thought they felt they could run Judge and just run him at will, and we're gonna do some good things. I don't think they realized the defense Parrish had running to the football. It just shut that down. Now that being said, when they understood that the soft coverage was going to allow you to throw the hitch and move it down the field, they were kind of giving them too much credit. Just throw it out there, just keep moving the ball. That's kind of why they have 16 points or 42-0 if they're doing the same. If they have a steady diet of what they're doing, so. I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't know if they have an answer for
the Parrish
offense. I mean, it's the Parrish offense. Obviously, the one's got to get work. You still got to get work because you're moving forward. They're going to, if it gets out of hand, you play twos. I don't know. But, I mean, it's a tough district they're in. I mean, right there, they got Braden River, Parrish. I think I saw that. I think that's who it is. I'm looking. So,
yeah, Braden River,
as the
Parrish,
season, as it evolves.
And I believe Port Charlotte, like we mentioned before, the Pirates.
Port Charlotte's better than Charlotte. Charlotte's been getting
the Tarpons have been getting,
I think Spinky left their head coach.
Post Binky, not a good time for them.
So, they've been strong every year.
I don't think they've scored a point this year. So they've got blasted back-to-back weeks. But Port Charlotte now, and that's a role reversal. Back in the day, in the heyday of Charlotte High School, they were the big boys on the block down there in Charlotte County. But now it's Port Charlotte with that nucleus of players that they've had for 2 years who are going to be a challenge in that district as well. Braden River right now, you saw them leading at halftime against Lakewood Ranch High School by a comfortable margin. So Braden River, we expect, is going to go to 2-0 on the season after tonight. And now Parrish Community, more than likely, obviously, is going to wind up extending their record to 2-1. So that's kind of a look at the 3S District 13 district and where Parrish Community High School stands right now. They've got a couple of other tough teams in there. But when we look at the Bayshore district, we talked about Lemon Bay last week coming in here and actually beating Parrish Community by 20 points. That is going to be a tough mountain for the Bruins to climb when they do take on Lemon Bay. Booker obviously also playing better than they have in recent years.
Jaden Judge kicking off for Bayshore, and he just kicks a squib down there, and Parrish falls on it.
The guy you didn't exactly want to see out there kicking off again for the Bruins.
Yeah. For Parrish, Jermaine Edwards has had a really good first half. He had 50 carries on 50 yards on 5 carries, according to our statistician. So
only 5 carries?
That's all we had written down.
How many yards does Judge have? Is that down?
Judge has got around.
He has some big plays at times, 8-9 yards.
48 yards.
Okay.
Not exactly what he's been used to. He did find pay dirt one time. 5 touchdowns in the opening week, 6 touchdowns last week, 1 so far tonight. Again, a little bit different competition with Parrish Community High School. And Coach Dylan Clark's got his guys out there ready to play tonight. And Parrish Community now back on offense. Jackson Voles throws the ball on first down. And he's got Tomlinson out there in the open on the right side, and Tomlinson driven out of bounds after a huge pickup on first down into Bayshore territory across the 50 and down to the 46.
Well-designed play. Tomlinson was in this was an H-back on the backside, came behind the line of scrimmage and slipped into the flat.
That's a Gus Malzahn play. We fake it, boom, you dump it out to the guy in motion. He's outflanked, he's gone. You know?
And now 2 receivers at the top of your screen. Single receiver to the boundary. And Volts is going to throw that ball again to the boundary, and you've got Chemistry Young out there with a flag down on the field.
So you got a lineman downfield there.
Yep. Lineman downfield?
Yeah, you got a couple of linemen, 4 or 5 yards
illegal man downfield is the call. Good call, coaches.
That might be an RPO. They might be run blocking, and the quarterback read to throw the pass option, and the linemen were a little bit too effective, probably blocking the Bayshore defensive line.
What's your latitude, like 2 yards, or what's the rule of thumb? .22. I'll tell you what.
That's
Jermaine
Edwards.
That guy, he's a jet. He's a junior.
Like we talked about, it came into this game averaging 14 yards per carry. 50 yards in the first half is what we had him racked up for.
And he's got another 14.
And that ball now deeper into Bayshore territory down at the 37-yard line. It's going to be 2nd down and 1. And Volts is going to fake that handoff that time, and he's going to fire it deep into the end zone. Young's back there. Defender's not looking back.
Interference.
Runs into him in the end zone, and that's going to be 15 yards.
Well, he's going to interfere.
He had him beat if he throws the ball in front of him. It's a touchdown. He had him beat by 4
and now it's only 15 yards.
And if the defender just looks back, it might even be a pick.
Yeah, he underthrew that one. That was a touchdown. See, like I said, it's just run by guys.
Yeah.
You know, the old thing, coaching the secondary, they're even, they're leaving.
It was a pretty ball,
Yeah.
but it was a little on the short side. Like you guys said, a little bit more air underneath that thing, it would have been 6. And if that defender would have just turned around, read the eyes of that receiver, Chemistry Young, he would have noticed that that was a short ball, maybe had a chance to get his mitts on.
Come back to a
First down after that penalty, pass interference. And here goes once again Jermaine Edwards on the carry. Positive yards, pickup of maybe 5.
That's just a great play. They're blocking down. They're pulling the backside guard. He's just following the guy. It's a great play. Gap play.
Spot that ball at the 12-yard line, 2nd down and 5 to go.
They're going to get a steady diet of this. They might get it again.
And there's that flip again that we
Everybody's
talked about
out
earlier.
front.
R.J. Mosley on the flip. Nice defense and missed on the tackle. And R.J. Mosley into the end zone. And there's the signal. Touchdown, Parrish Community High School. The Bulls, on their first possession of the second half, extend their lead.
R.J. Mosley was another two-sport guy. He was a big baseball player growing up. I remember watching him play baseball out at Buffalo Creek. His older brother played baseball as well at Sarasota High. Their dad played at Southeast under Paul Meckley, I believe.
And I think that's going to put us into running clock territory.
That's going to go 49-16. What is that?
That's 48. With the extra point coming, it'll be 49.
That's not running clock.
No, it's not yet. It's 35?
33?
35. Got to get to 35.
It's 30. He's not,
I'm not good at math.
No,
just so both
it's
you
gotta
guys.
be 51.
So they're
There
up-
will be no
we settled
math.
this last year, Chris.
So they're
that,
up
me and
33.
math
So
are
they're going to
not
be up
good friends.
33, right?
I was told there'd be no math.
There's always math. There's statistics. There's scores. There's clock.
Spoken like a PE major, Dr. Skip.
Yeah. The doctor's not in math. And here's
Yeah, they
Owen Tomlinson again for the extra point for Parrish. Another low kick, but it's right down the middle, and it's going to be good. And with that, it's going to be 49-16. The Bulls over the Bruins with 10:42 left to go.
The question on this series is what are they going to do? They going to throw hitches and get down the field, or do some things, maybe verticals, and maybe they get outflanked?
I think you need to.
because they're going to score again, and then you got your running clock. So
Well,
this is a big series here.
Regardless of the running clock, I think you're now at a position with Bayshore where you got to see, all right, what else do we got in our bag besides Jaden
To
Judge?
work on our game.
Exactly. I think
Yeah,
that you know,
correct.
I would want to see what my
you're right. I
passing
agree.
attack can do.
Right. No razzle dazzle. Let's do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Correct.
And let's put some guys in position
and
to
get
succeed.
better this week and move on to next week. Correct.
So I think
Absolutely.
let's see. So we expect to see a passing game predominantly out here, but I'd still go ahead and go ahead and put Davian Johnson in the backfield. He was the starter last year. Mix it up a little bit, but get Jaden Judge involved as well because he's no matter how you slice that pie, he's your stud. So get the ball to him in space, get him out in the flats, throw it to him a little bit. So we'll see what Bayshore does on offense as they get this ball back here, and let's see if they kick it to Jaden Judge.
No,
They
but-
squib it.
32.
Younger.
And that's the other Judge,
32.
Deshaun Judge, younger brother of Jaden Judge, and he's out past the 40-yard line to the 42-yard line. Again, that squib kick not exactly working for Parrish Community, but Bayshore not exactly taking advantage of the good field position. So first down and 10. And boy, I'll tell you, the darker it gets out, I mean, the sun's only gone down maybe a half hour ago, but the darker it gets, the nicer those sideline markers look.
They are nice.
I'm not good at math, and I'm not good at seeing things.
Kudos to Sean Trent, athletic director Sean Trent. State of the art.
It's first down and 11
Down
yards
markers.
to go. Oh,
And
10.
we have not seen Nasir Edwards back after that injury, so
And this is going to be Jaden Judge. Nice cut in the hole. And Judge tries to bounce it outside, but great. Well, and he does it again. The power and the vision of Jaden Judge, those are great tackling linebackers. And that's how you saw Holton Graham just almost had him wrapped up, but Jaden Judge able to break out of that and pick up 10 yards.
He's strong.
They're going to call it 9.
yeah, he's got some wiggle. He can make you miss in a phone booth.
So that's going to bring up a long yard to go for Bayshore here. And, you know, this is generally where you get that second down and 1 where you can do a lot of things on offense. Let's see if they just keep it simple. Play fake. Rhodes got a receiver. Nice one-handed grab, and it's dropped. Boy, it looked for a quick second like Devon Scott was able to haul that thing in with one hand.
It looked as if one of the receivers was blocking out there. There was some confusion. I think there's two receivers running into each other out
Just
there.
trying to get some run, the reason here, and seeing what, complementary routes. What are we doing? Same guys in the same, guys in the same area is probably not good.
Problem.
I'm surprised we haven't seen him go to the wheel route to Judge out of the backfield, which they did last week.
That's a good play.
Twice successfully.
Third down and 2 now. Judge with the carry. Judge with that first down carry inside of Bulls territory.
Yeah.
And down to the 45-yard line. First down and 10 for the Shore. We got a whistle down on the field.
Just like a Bayshore guys down.
It might be Judge. Is that Judge? Did he get up?
I don't see a number 3 walking off the field. And boy, whoever that is, they are
So
not
Judge
moving.
is cramping up?
There it is.
I would think he would.
Yeah, when you're
Well, there you go. You talked about the kickoffs, and
It's kicking.
Can't help.
Man. I know.
they can't. And that is his right leg.
I mean, at this
But
point,
it's a hot night.
At this point in the game,
And with this injury right now, let's take you over real quickly and let's do a live cut-in with that Lakewood Ranch and Braden River game. So we're going to be back to this action real soon. But right now, let's go ahead where Braden River High School leads the Mustangs 27-16 in the third quarter. And there's your score right there. Your live look-in, I should say, from Mustang Field.
the new look Braden River squad this year. Their quarterback transferred to St. Pete Lakewood, so they have a new quarterback. Their tailback from last year transferred to Manatee, so it's kind of like we're college announcers now talking about the transfer portal, the way these kids are transferring around in high schools.
Yeah, and I said at Lakewood Ranch, this game's at Braden River. You can see the
dark uniforms. They should
the
be.
Pirates in the foreground with their dark jerseys. And that game is on a water break right now. So we switched from one game with an injury timeout. We got a water break in the other game. But, hey, at least we're able to sit there and say, hey, we got another game going on here in Manatee County. An important game between rivals, 27-16 with the Pirates over the Mustangs. And we're going to get back here to action at Parrish Community High School as Judge is able to limp off the field. Again, cramps for Jaden Judge.
You got to hope he can come back. I mean, without Nasir Edwards and Judge in their lineup,
that's their two top offensive players.
Yeah, it's probably 85-90% of their offense so far this year. That's going to mean Eli Roberts is going to have to continue to play well like he has, number 11.
And we got LaDavian Johnson in there at tailback. We talked about him as the starter last year. So on first down, Rhodes handles that snap. He's under heat right away, and down goes Caleb Rhodes. And that
number 28
was Jude Johnson, defensive end.
Totally unblocked, came untouched. Snap was a little bit off to the side, and that time messed with the timing of the play.
And I think it also took Caleb Rhodes' eyes off the defender coming in free. He was looking at that ball, trying to handle that before he could know it, before he could look up. He was under duress. Now we got LaDavian Johnson with a handoff that time and not getting much, maybe 2 yards on the pickup. And that's going to be third down and long.
Well, unless you're running a zone read, you really don't want your quarterback's eyes on defenders that are rushing him. But
I thought I saw a flag. Yeah, you're right. There is one down there, Coach. It's on the field.
Flag up top.
We got a little zebra huddle out there to talk this thing over. And they're waving that flag off. So after that conversation, nobody saw anything at all, nothing to see here. You know, I always say, you see something, you throw the flag. If you don't see something, there's no reason to reach for a flag. But nonetheless, third down and 13 yards to go, 14 yards to go. Yard marker for all as nice as they are, it's not second down. There you go, third down. Johnson with a handoff, a little bit of a hole, getting dragged down by the jersey by Gage Cameron, and then got popped. And that ball's going to be now on the 42-yard line. That's going to be fourth down and about 7 yards to go for the Bruins. And we know the MO so far tonight. The Bruins, regardless of the deficit, they're going to be going for this. And we got 3 receivers to the field, 1 to the boundary. Caleb Rhodes tries to drift to his right. He's going to be under heat, and down goes Caleb Rhodes. Great pursuit that time on defense. That's number 30, Sean Crowley, with his second big play behind the line of scrimmage tonight.
So fourth down, I'm not sure that fourth and 11.
Well, you could see that Caleb Rhodes had no idea he was being pursued and hunted from behind by Crowley. And just as he's getting ready to uncourt that thing, he goes down. So now Parrish Community is going to take over with a 49-16 lead. Again, I'm not going to do the math on that. It's just a lot of points.
33.
It's not quite 35.
Not quite.
Which is the magic number if you're looking to end this game sooner.
I have a sneaky suspicion that they're going to hit that number pretty soon.
Well, you know, it's just a shame, though, for Bayshore, even in a game like this, though, to lose your top 2 offensive players. You want to be able to experiment. You want to be able to say, okay, let's go ahead and put our best game on tape out there and learn and grow. Yeah. And they can't even do that.
No, and that's their 2 return guys, and this year also plays defense. So
yeah, both ways.
Getting some subs in now for Bayshore because I see a white helmet in there. It hasn't been in all night, I don't think.
That is interesting. And, like you said, Coach, it's Nasir was not just one of their top offensive playmakers, but also maybe their best defender in the secondary.
Same play, they slipped him in the flats.
Here goes Tomlinson once again, and Tomlinson not going to be brought down.
It's a good play.
And Tomlinson all the way into the end zone.
That was a great run. That was a great
Lane
run.
Tomlinson, number 8.
That was a great run.
That was an outstanding run. That's the second time we've seen him weave through traffic and pick up a big chunk of yards, but that was impressive.
And we have a running clock.
So now we have reached that magic threshold.
At 7:31 in the third quarter is no longer an option. It used to be an option in the third quarter in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And fourth quarter was automatic. They have now changed that. It's automatic third quarter, and
Okay.
it never goes off. Once the running
It
clock
just
starts, it runs. It's
It would only stop at timeouts.
it'll
or
stop at
if you
timeouts,
wanna-
and after a score,
after a score.
I believe-
Really? I don't
No,
know.
it's
No,
running
after-
now.
it's running. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And
But,
after
I
that
mean,
Lane Tomlinson touchdown, Owen Tomlinson puts it
That was a
through.
great
If
run
one
by
team
that
cuts
guy.
the lead down, it still keeps running.
That was a great run. This guy right here, that guy's a weapon. See, I think, watching Parrish tonight, they're utilizing a lot of weapons though. They're well coached. They look at the situation, tight end. A lot of guys are touching the ball. It's just they're doing some good things.
And they
play hard.
They've
Their
got some
defense
good
runs to the
receivers to
football.
throw the ball,
They-
too.
They play with enthusiasm. Their defense is running to the football. Now obviously, they're playing soft and doing some things.
Yeah,
they-
you're right, Coach. I mean, they've thrown that ball to a lot of different guys.
I mean,
R.J. Mosley caught a couple of nice balls. Mike Bell caught
I
one.
like the play selection. Something was simple. Dump it right there. It's fantastic.
But Lane Tomlinson, you talk about the big play guy. We thought it would be Chemistry Young out here, and in fact, he did have a 67-yard touchdown. But Lane Tomlinson has been that weapon that we didn't really talk about coming into this game from the tight end spot. So you add him to the mix. And when you look at the job that's been done in the backfield by Jermaine Edwards and even Jerome Turner tonight,
goodness gracious.
Wow.
They recovered it. Sorry.
It went off
Well,
Bayshore.
He kicked it off the front line of the Bayshore guy. It went back over the heads of the kicking
That's
team,
unbelievable.
and the kicker ran back and recovered it. I think it was the kicker.
As long as it makes contact.
Wow.
That's truly unbelievable. Was that intentional? I was looking down at my
It was
my
just a
stat sheet.
squib kick, I think, right at the front line and not wanting to kick it deep.
Now we run it off tackle. It is, you know the Tomlinson
You
guy.
don't, yeah. I mean,
Well,
we know Coach
no,
Clark
no,
well enough to
no,
know now
no,
he's not going to be throwing
well,
that ball.
Yeah, we worked him with the Tomlinson. What we would do, this guy, you can run shovel to this guy, the shovel play here.
Yeah.
Shovel at 8-9. Great play.
You mentioned Parrish being well coached. Coach Clark has put together a very good staff. He brought Matt Myers in as a offensive coordinator, but he's got a couple of former head coaches on the staff and associate head coaches. Frank Post has been at Braden River for a long time, and he's coordinating the defense. He's got Ed Voles coaching the offensive line, who was the head coach at Sarasota and Braden River, whose son is the quarterback. So when your son's the quarterback, you're going to do a real good job coaching the offensive line because you want to protect your son.
They've done
So
some,
he's been around a long time.
He
and,
was the offensive coordinator last year for this Bulls team.
They've been
Yes.
they've been very creative.
Yeah.
I mean, really creative. They've done a nice job.
And they've executed the plays well.
I didn't see the Lemon Bay game, but I mean, like you guys saying it was close.
Big plays that
Big plays that
went
just,
against them. Yeah.
was-
Splash plays.
Changed the complexity of the ball game. I mean, but these guys are doing some good things. How are you going to run the ball? Why is the clock not running?
Lemon Bay's offense gave them some difficulty. They had a big running back, who was probably 220 pounds, and they would run counter, and he was making tackles, and he was just too physical, I think, for the size of their defense.
So we're going to run left here. We're going to.
And Volt stays in the game. Little flip again
Mosley.
to R.J. Mosley, and Mosley with a big chunk yardage on first down again for the Bulls near midfield. They're going to mark him out actually at the 45-yard line. Still good enough for a first down for Parrish Community.
So, third quarter, 5 minutes. So I'm assuming fourth quarter. They might bring some twos in and bring some backup guys in, give them some reps. What do you think, Chris? Offensively,
Got a little early start there, and again, boy, that's Tomlinson in the backfield
You know what I
that
mean?
time, running the ball, and ran right past some great initial burst by the defensive end for Bayshore. But he over pursued.
That's a new wrinkle. Get him the ball in the backfield, and that their running backs are smallish. We commented about that watching practice this week, and that gives them an option in short yardage. To get a guy with a little more size. Going north and south.
And you don't lose a lot of athletic abilities.
No.
We've seen right now tonight Lane Tomlinson in the open field, a dangerous weapon. And that time a little flip pass out, got a flag down on the field. But Jermaine Edwards with the reception, he's deep into Bruin territory. Let's check the laundry.
Got a low block, maybe a cut, I don't know. But now from the mindset of getting kids involved,
You got it blocking the back there, Coach. You're good. And that's going to bring back that big play by Jermaine Edwards. Take away from his receiving total on there. And we're going to have ourselves a first down in about 20. And that clock continues to run, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Missed tackle in the open field,
Mosley.
and now Jermaine Edwards.
Oh, is it? I thought it was Mosley.
And Edwards is gone.
It's Mosley.
Oh, it is Mosley. I checked that, RJ. That was 22. It's 82. RJ Mosley. I told you I'm blind. Can't see, can't add. RJ Mosley to the house.
Yeah, they just.
And now we're into the 60s.
That looked like an RPO. They had run. They were pulled a guy this way, and the running back coming this way, and quarterback pulled it and
Number 82.
hit Mosley, who made the one guy miss that was left on that side of the field, and it was an easy touchdown.
And the points just keep on piling up for Parrish.
here's some lights out.
About to make this thing 63.
It looks like it's 2-16.
Almost got a hand on it, one of the Bayshore special teams players, but it's up and it's through again. 63-16, 2:32 to go in the third quarter. Clock going to continue to run here.
Yeah, this would be a great time to get some subs in because it's going to go fast. They're only going to get probably, well, I don't know if they keep scoring at this pace, they may get 4 or 5 more possessions, but usually two possessions once you get the clock.
Benefits from this more are the two defense because they'll stay on the field because invariably sometimes the one offense will take it down the field and they get a chance to play the two offense they can't get on.
Now, barring some other catastrophe on special teams here for the Bruins, we'll see if Jaden Judge actually is able to come back on the field for the Bruins.
He's there. He's back to return the kick, so he's doing okay. Guess they got it.
I guess that's a good indicator.
Got rid of the cramps. Got some water or some pickle juice in him. We used to use pickle juice.
And he's back deep to Eli Roberts, who's taken the place of Nasir Edwards as the other deep man. And another little poocher. And wow, caught out of the air that time. And Holden Graham.
Can you do that?
Going to recover it. So Bayshore's offense hasn't touched. Did he touch it before the 10 yards?
I don't think. No, it was past 10.
We got a flag down on the field right at the spot where Holden Graham
he
caught that ball out of the air. That's legal.
He caught it about 12 yards.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
he should be down right there. You cannot advance it unless they're saying because he caught it in the air. That he did not give Bayshore a chance to catch, but there was nobody there to catch it. It should be.
Really? Interference. Now that's unusual.
Well, I didn't see did someone go in front and block somebody away from the ball maybe while the ball was in the air.
There wasn't enough time for anybody to get down to get near the return man.
I didn't think there was.
Well, regardless, it's good not to see Parrish Community on offense for the 4th straight possession. So we maybe need a little bit of break here with getting the Bayshore offense on the field. Where that would have been three straight possessions. Told you I can't
See
count.
some backup DBs going in now for Parrish. Coach Clark goes out and pulls off a couple of DBs. And he's got some 2s in.
Now that was interesting too because that wasn't intentional. You know, little blooper. Not want to call that an onside kick. It's not a sky kick. It's not a pooch kick.
Well, I think it serves 2 purposes. You keep the ball away from Judge, which was their goal going in, and now anybody who plays them the rest of the year has got 4 or 5 different onside kicks they have to work on.
That was my question. Why does Coach Clark call that when you're winning 63-16?
Yeah.
And there you go.
I mean, that was their game plan. They're not going to kick it to Judge, even if they do have a big lead. And now they get to practice it. and then everybody else has to prepare for it. So everybody they play the rest of this year who gets this film is going to be very concerned about that on kickoff.
And that's going to do it for the end of the third quarter. And again, we are under the running clock rule now with a 63-16 lead for Parrish.
I mean, we should be out of here by 9:10. It's 8:57 now. We get that 12 minutes running. It'll be really interesting to see what happens with Bayshore moving forward after this game. With some tough district games coming up, and there was a lot of positivity this week over at Bayshore. The way they came out and started out 2-0, and
there's a buzz on campus this week.
This is going to be a tough one to swallow. I know that the Bayshore alumni that I know were very excited. Weren't you, Skip?
You know one right here, yes.
Yes.
It's hard to get excited over something that for 40 years is not excitable for the most part. You were there, you coached there for a little while, and you had some good teams out there. So we got another player down, and that's going to be Holton Graham.
It looks like his shoulder, maybe a stinger. I noticed when we were here at practice this week, he was not in pads. He was not practicing. So I don't know if that's an old injury maybe that's popped back up. Sometimes when you get stingers, the guy will get a stinger and he'll get him the rest of the season, week after week.
Lemon Bay's up at halftime. Portia Road's at 35 minutes.
And now we got Bayshore's going to be taking on DeSoto next week, their other district foe, along with Booker and Lemon Bay. Those games are all upcoming. So you've got 3 out of the next 4 games for Bayshore are going to be district games. They're going to have to refine their footing here. Let's just hope Nasir Edwards is not injured too badly and will be back for those games.
It's going to be a tall task for Bayshore to get a win in the district with those 3 teams.
There's no doubt. Northport on the schedule, however, they just got their first victory in 3 years last week, so that represents an opportunity maybe for Bayshore to get back on the winning ways. DeSoto always usually not much of a powerhouse either, but we'll see how that game goes.
It looks like 11's okay. He's still being looked at by the trainer on the sideline.
And when we look at Parrish Community and their schedule coming up, it's going to be Avon Park next week, then Southeast, then Mulberry, and then Braden River.
Manatee is up 37-0 on Charlotte. We got a local score report.
Charlotte still not scoring a point so far this season. And Bayshore throws it up, and it's caught. So Caleb Rose with a downfield pass, and that thing is hauled in by number 23. And again, not on the roster.
It might be 20. Trying to see, the numbers are hard to read over there. That might be 22. No. It looks
Also,
like 23.
If it's 22, that's Sawyer Baker, a senior.
Looks like 23 though.
23, unidentifiable. And Caleb Rhodes under pressure. Rhodes is going to go down. And it looks like, again, number 30 was the first guy on the scene there for Parrish Community High School.
They went right back, ran the same play that time. It was just smash concept on both sides with the outside guy running a hitch and the inside guy running a corner. And after hitting the first corner, they went back and ran it again, and that time the Parrish defense was ready for it.
Sean Crowley with his second sack in this half. Second down and long now for the Bruin offense. Caleb Rhodes. Jaden Judge with a handoff, and Judge wrapped up immediately that time in the backfield. And that's number 14 for Parrish Community. That's Ashton Springfield.
There's just defenders running through the line unobstructed. He was almost there before Judge got the handoff. There's not much you could do there.
And again, that offensive line, we talked a little bit about them at the beginning. They got manhandled tonight.
Yes, they've had
both sides of the ball.
They've had a rough night. The fronts on both sides, yes, for Bayshore have had a rough night.
And Rhodes just goes down. Try to get a man downfield. Did a little wiggle fake and nothing there, and he just hits the deck.
He just kind of slid. I don't know.
Well, you had a choice there. You can either get hit or slide. And I think he probably made the wiser decision because he wasn't going anywhere.
That's what they give you pads for.
4th down again for the Bruins. 4th down and 24 to go. And it would be nice to see Bayshore get something here, just a little bit of positive momentum to get him out of this and get him into that DeSoto County game.
Is that game at DeSoto or at Bayshore? That's a tough place to play if they have to go to DeSoto.
It's at DeSoto.
Yeah,
Bayshore's not going to be home again until probably the end of October.
That's going to be rough.
And they're stopping the clock with a timeout with 8:22 to go. That's one thing that will stop the clock on a running clock is a timeout. And, you know, Bayshore's thinking the same thing here. Yeah, we're down by 63-16 score, but it's 4th down and 24 to go. Let's try to get something positive. So they're scheming over there on the sidelines. Coach Ricky Simmons just trying to get something going here.
Not a lot of play calls for 4th and 24.
There's not. Your best one might be to chuck it up there and draw some interference.
I remember a 4th and long against St. Thomas Aquinas when when Breon Carnes was quarterback down in St. Thomas, and I told him before the play, if it's not there, just throw it up in the end zone because defense is not supposed to intercept it in that situation. They're supposed to bat it down. So it wasn't there, and he threw it up in the end zone, and Major Wright picked it off and ran it back to our 11. 89-yard return.
Major Wright will do that.
Yeah.
And Breon Carnes, we talked about him, the quarterback coach of the Bayshore Bruins now, coming over with Coach Simmons from that Sarasota coaching staff. And they're going to have to go back into the lab when they get back to the Bruin den. Caleb Rhodes got a man open. And Rhodes, nice throw that time. Giovanni Altine with the reception, but it's going to be way short of that 1st down on 4th down and 24.
Yeah, that's a good play on 1st or 2nd down. That's what they need to be doing. But you can't take those losses and then, you know, like I said, 4th and 24, there's no good play calls.
Especially when you're throwing 15 yards short of the sticks.
Yep.
These Parrish, they do a good job. They're a disciplined team. I'm watching these guys on both sides of the ball.
Well, hats off to Coach Post.
Like I mentioned earlier, you look at the Parrish kids still now in the game out of hand, but coming off the field, they're going right to their seats, looking at the camera, looking at the video so they can make adjustments, watching the last series and see what happened on it. You know, it's a perspective that, you know, 20 years ago we didn't have as coaches. It's an unbelievable tool to be able to go over and show the kids exactly what happened, exactly where they lined up or where they misaligned and what they did. You know, in the fog of war sometimes you don't see things too clear when you're out on the field. But when you can come over and look at it in slow motion, that changes things a little. You got a new quarterback in.
Exactly. And that's going to be Stephen DeMara.
Senior.
Getting some playing time in here, 5'10", 160 senior. And you'd expect to see some wholesale substitution at this point in the game. And we don't have any starters out there that I can identify right now.
We still got some linemen out there, starters.
See, that's okay. I got a backup quarterback. I don't mind throwing a hitch. Senior guy, throw it out there.
That was another RPO as well.
Too, you know?
Give him a chance to throw that ball and see what he's got.
Absolutely.
And besides that, he's a senior on top of it. He got to exercise that arm. He's not going to have many more chances out there.
I think that's an RPO. I think he's looking at just they had the guards pulling out this way. He could have run this way. But if you get a soft corner and they're going to give you a gift out there, you take the gift.
Oh, is that what it was? That was RPO there, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Well, you know,
So
we had
those
Jerome
guys
Turner.
are pulling. They're behind the line of scrimmage. That's awesome.
Turner was in the game at tailback, and he just went out, and Edwards came in. We got a timeout on the field again. 6:01 left to go in the game.
Call timeout.
Yeah, there's still a few starters out there at the starting running backs.
Exactly. Edwards just came back out on the field. I see Turkana, who's had a couple of nice receptions. He's out there. Was that Bayshore that called that timeout?
I would assume. I don't know why Parrish would call a timeout, but we're at the 6-minute mark now, halfway through the fourth quarter.
3rd down and 6 yards to go. Not exactly a key down, especially when you're down by whatever margin that is. I told you I'm not going to do the math. I'm just not going to do it. You might even told me what that margin was before. It's going to let it lie, 63 to 16. That's all we need to know.
47? 47? I don't know. 47 points. Man.
47.
Okay.
John Lynch.
The seniors run it,
Little
man.
quarterback.
Damara.
Oh, but he puts the ball on the ground. It's picked up by Bayshore.
There we go.
Bayshore with
a little bit of opportunity here with 5 minutes and counting running to go, or 5:48.
Really nice play before he got hit and knocked the ball out. They ran a little quarterback counter, and he made a nice cut and got through the hole, and just got to work on that ball security a little when contact comes.
He's probably not used to that contact a whole heck of a lot out there. Regardless, Bayshore going to take that ball over inside the Parrish 40-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot it at the 39-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the Bruins. We got Rhodes back out there, and Johnson's at tailback. It looks like Judge is done, or Judge in the slot. Nope, that's not him.
He's not out there right now. There's the hitch.
Oh, boy.
It was thrown to the outside receiver, and the inside receiver reached out and tipped it, I think.
Both players had hands on the ball.
Now, does he get credit for a pass defended, Matt, as a receiver?
I'm going to go with no. They had a chance for a completion there. Again, a short pickup.
Still had the soft corners, and it was a good read. It was a good call.
Early in the ball game, you got to identify that and work to that advantage. First series,
and that inside receiver has to stay inside. He can't widen out.
He's going to run by guys like it's youth football. That wasn't going to happen.
And that was an awkward release that time by Rhodes. Had a guy open in the middle of the field down the seam there, and just threw it behind him. Incomplete, 3rd down. Is that what you saw?
A little Phillip Rivers. Yeah.
He's got a little bit of that down here.
Arm angle.
Yeah.
It looked like an odd angle trying to throw that ball.
You know why Phillips Rivers, he might do like that.
There you go. Nice throw to the outside. Long throw.
I just think
Eli.
that could have been done the first
Roberts,
quarter, just doing some things.
Right?
You got that right, number 11.
The mystery man. He's had a nice game. I don't know
He
where he
has.
came from.
He's not even on the roster, not on the starting depth chart, but hey, he's out there. He's probably the leading receiver easily tonight.
Oh, yes.
Students, all for your ride now. The game will be over shortly. Students, all for your ride now. The game will be over.
1st down and 10 for Bayshore inside the 30 at the 27-yard line of Parrish. And Rhodes with all sorts of times. Got a man, and Caleb Rhodes, inside the 5, down to the 1-yard line, Bayshore.
It
How
looks
about
like
a little
23.
excitement?
It looks like 23 again, which we don't have a number. Made a nice catch before.
They could have done a lot.
And again, you were right. You talked about this earlier. This is what you need to do early on in the ball game, especially when they expect you to run it down their throats.
You do have some backups in on defense. You got some backup linebackers and safeties in there, and that might have something.
True. This is true.
Their defense can play a vertical concept.
But what we also have seen against the starters is Caleb Rhodes has been able to hit those open receivers every now and then. And it worked. When we talked about when Bayshore was still in this ball game, and they widened those defensive backs out, the linebackers out, they opened things up. And they converted in the passing game. That pass is incomplete. Intended for number 23.
Several times they try to throw that bubble, and I'm not sure if that's a read or, if it's a read, I don't know what he's reading. Because that one, the receiver is about ready to get lit up.
We got 3rd down and 1. Bayshore calls a timeout with 2:15 left. Bayshore wants to score. That's obvious.
Yeah. Well, I understand that. That's pride.
Absolutely. You want to take that positive, vibe out of this game to any extent that you can. Put something out there.
These kids have pride. They work hard all summer, and they want to compete.
Absolutely.
I don't like the games being – I'm really not a big fan of the running clock. I like it when I'm up here because it gets us out of here faster and a lopsided game. But as a coach, The twos wanted to play, the threes wanted to play, and the other team that's losing, they want to play. They worked hard too. They want to play, and they want to try to score.
That's correct.
You know, maybe this is where you find out a guy can do it who you didn't think could. You know, maybe he didn't show it in practice, but he's a guy who can turn it on in a game and do it. And you find that out at this stage in the game and realize that you got something you didn't know you had.
And now the challenge for Coach Jamal Sanders is going to be to try to keep that buzz that we talked about on the Bayshore campus in the bottle, because this can take the wind out of your sails real quick. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to keep that edge. A touchdown here is going to help that cause. Rhodes under pressure again, goes down underneath a swarm of defenders.
They got a face mask.
And we got a flag down. Looked like a face mask. You're right, Coach.
A little like a face mask. Inadvertent.
Personal foul. Actually,
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer.
Which he didn't throw it, but.
That's interesting. I don't know how that could be the call, but it is. Unless they hit him low in the knees.
There's no rule against that in high schools.
I don't know.
I guess he just thought it was a late hit, maybe. It should have just been a personal foul and not a
roughing the passer.
Not a roughing the passer, a late hit, maybe. I don't.
Either way, that's going to set Bayshore up at the 5-yard line. First down and goal now for the Bruins. $1:30 to go in the ball game. Time's ticking. If Bayshore wants to get in that end zone, and they are lollygagging back to the huddle, or to the line of scrimmage. Rhodes throws the ball in the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Bruins. Number 23 again. We have no idea who he is, but touchdown, Bayshore.
That's a little slant route.
The next time we have the Bruins on our broadcast, we'll make sure that we have the entire roster from the coaching staff.
That's a little seam route, Chris. The guy hit. I mean, I feel bad because I really felt they could do a lot during the game.
And here's that
Throw the football.
Here's that two-point conversion attempt again. We got LaDavian Johnson in the backfield. And here comes Caleb. And Rhodes back to pass. Got a man, but it's going to be incomplete that time. That's the first incomplete two-point conversion that we've had for Bayshore.
So that's the ball game. Thing runs out.
Now, 22 seconds to go and counting. Nothing else is going to happen in this ball game. So Bayshore does get on the board to close things out here. But your final score from Parrish Community High School, it's the Bulls 63 and the Bayshore Bruins 22. Congratulations to Coach Dylan Clark in a great bounce-back victory for his team. And Coach Jamal Sanders, he's going to, again, have to go back into the lab and get something cooking for these Bruins as they get ready to face DeSoto County in a critical district matchup for them next week. And again, we want to go ahead and thank all of our students that helped us put this broadcast together. Our on-field cameraman, Ricardo Campbell, Chase LaGrady, Josh Soto, Gavin St. Clair, Mia Caragiulo, Hayden Harper, Will Cribby, Ava Cox, and Miss Erin Lish, who oversees all those students in the Parrish Community High School TV production class. Our guys down in the production booth, Steve Pannone, Carl Shelton, and Matt Messenger. And up here in the booth for Chris Conboy and Coach Chuck Sandberg, I'm Skip Wilhoit. We will see you guys next week with the Braden River Pirates travel to Hawkins Stadium at Joe Canan Field to take on the Hurricanes in that new turf. So I'm excited to see that, guys.
Outstanding.
All right.
Over and out.
You guys have a great night. Tune us in next week for that great matchup. And until then, enjoy your weekend.